Okay.
Pickles!
Landon was good enough to help me with getting the OBS tested out, so hopefully I'm recording everything properly now. I'll be recording the same monitor that I'm displaying Roll20 on, and I'm also streaming that on Discord in case I need to show artwork, because I'm not confident that with my knowledge of Roll20 that I can display artwork in a timely fashion yet, so it's faster for me just to do it from Windows Explorer. So yeah.
Where do we see that in Discord?
If you go into the voice channel and then click on me, you'll see that it says live. And then if you click on me, you can see, it'll say, watch this stream. So.
Cool.
All right. So, whilst the nobles and their progeny were having a field day trying and buying many curiosities sold at Melon's big chest, you could hear Don Glavelli having another outburst as one of his attendants dutifully mopped the shit from his bald pate, screaming, "Who did this to my crown?" Elsewhere, several more guards have apprehended Raul Capone, and they're trying to wrestle him out of the town square. You can see that the olive-skinned little girl, Liliana, is tugging urgently at her father's robes and pointing at the distressed hunter. "Daddy, you have to do something to help. Don't let Count Doodoo take him away." Not to be confused with the inimical Count Dooku. So, the folks who are currently in the town square, who are nearby to all this, is, let's see, change maps to Rizal. Let's see. All right, so standing nearby, well, Pickle has currently escaped, and she's in there with in Melon's cart at the moment. But Voltan is kind of standing off to the edge. Veneto is near the center, along with Duchess Rowan, Prince Varnadil, and Ambassador Hloknar. And they're having Raul Capone dragged away. It's taking like about 4 guards to restrain him. And you guys doing or saying anything while all this is happening, or not?
I'm just kind of shifting through like the little wares that I bought, kind of like counting through the berries and taking a little bit of that honey mead, and just she kind of takes the bottle, tips it over onto her finger a little bit, like covering it with her finger, just to get a few drops. Closes the lid, and then takes her finger and kind of shifts it towards her pocket, where I'm assuming a little head pops out.
Mm-hmm. Pip licks a little bit of the finger. Pip takes like a single lick and then starts rubbing his face with his paws, like all the way up to his ears, and then hides back in the pocket. Nice.
That's that honey that you're tasting there seems to have a bit of a kick, Pip, and it makes your nose and your whiskers tingle, and there's a little bit of a burning in the back of your throat, but it mellows out after a second or two. And you're feeling good.
Nice.
Well, I'm in the wagon, so I can't technically do anything about my papa being dragged away, but if any of their gobbies in there, I'd be like, "Hey, that's my papa! We gotta do something!"
As you look back out of the one-way window of the tent, Bonk is looking in the same direction that you are, and she's like, "No offense, but I think that maybe we've made ourselves a little bit too preoccupied today. Just wait a minute until the boss lady gets back in here and hooks you up with a disguise or something, maybe. Went through a lot of trouble."
Can we do something? Can't we tell them to do something? That's my papa.
Says, By the looks of it, it looks like maybe those elves are about to do something. And
yeah, like they're gonna do anything useful.
And from where you're watching, you see Ambassador Hloknar pat his daughter on the head, and he calls out, Don Glovelli, in light of your gladiator's explosive disappearance, should we perhaps engage your hunting dogs and guests alike with some alternate entertainment? There are fields and forests aplenty, and this good man, he gestures to Raoul, seems to be an accomplished hunter. Might I suggest a fox chase or a boar hunt? It would be a nice escape from all the bustle of the town proper, don't you think? I'm sure Master Abambattois can manage things here in the meanwhile, And I would like all of you who are out there to make perception and or arcana checks, please.
Okay.
$17.
17, okay.
Does that show up in roll 22?
Let me see.
Oh, they're both the same?
Yeah, I see your result of 17. I see Valena got a 12. Landon got a 16. Let's see. How did Pickle do?
You said everybody who was out there.
Well, you can still see through the window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can roll perception. I think you.
I'm gonna use my sparkly red dice. It is perception, you said?
Yes.
Perception. I have a -1. This is gonna be fun.
What'd you get?
With my -1, I got 1.
Excellent. So you apparently get distracted by the smell of food cooking or something, and turn around, and you're not even looking. Valena doesn't really notice anything. She's still preoccupied with the bunny, who seems to be going around chasing his tail inside of her pocket. He seems like he's kind of out of sorts at the moment. Landon, you get the feeling that something strange may have just happened, but you're not sure what. And Zulrich, you picked up on the fact that Ambassador Hloknar, it almost looked like he was making a sort of strange gesture with his hand while he was speaking. As you're watching, you hear Raoul say, "Huh." He nods his head in agreement with the ambassador, as do some of the other human nobles in the town square. My lord elf, these lands are good hunting. I should know, seeing as how I'm the one what's kept Andy the butcher stocked up. You want a good hunt? I'm the man to guide yins. Heck, maybe see how some of these rich Utes shoot. Utes.
That's my
The
papa.
Utes.
That's a callback to last week.
Yeah, I know that is.
Did you notice anything odd there?
Would I recognize the hand gesture?
You would have noticed like some little hand gestures. Landon, besides Venito, you feel a bit of an elbow in your ribs, and looking to your right, you see Duchess Rowan standing there smirking, and she just kind of winks at you, and she puts a finger to her lips.
How you doing?
She says,
Sorry.
"Well, I'm sure you'd like to know."
Why are you
At the
both
mention of a hunt, several of the other nobles and their children add their voices to the chorus. Surprisingly, Don Glavelli doesn't seem particularly perturbed by this, and he waves his hands, bidding his guards to release Raoul. "Well, seems this is your lucky day, Capone. As it just so happens, a hunt was exactly what I was thinking of. And now that I'm out some short green collateral, you owe me." With a loud whistle, the Viscount calls for some horses and shouts, "My esteemed guests, if any of you want to get your juices flowing, finish up your brunch. We ride." At noon!
Who talks like that? That's Pickle, by the way.
Yeah.
Zelric tries to reproduce the hand signals for Venito and ask him if he would recognize any of them.
Benito, 16. He feels like something was a little bit up, but he's not entirely sure. Actually, now that I think about
I'm saying if I tried to reproduce the hand gestures for him and asked him about them.
Would he know what
go
it was?
ahead and give me a sleight of hand check.
And 21.
Okay, Landon, give me another Arcana check to see if you can figure out what was just going on.
All right.
I realize that you have a +0 in Arcana, so this may be a fruitless effort, but...
Yeah.
He could roll well. We don't know.
You look at this strange, swarthy elf with white hair in front of you, making strange gesticulations and standing right in front of you, and you have no idea what he's on about. And the Duchess just kind of giggles, and down near your knees you can see one of the two blonde elf girl twins just sort of sigh and shake her head at the both of you. All right, let's see.
But Pickle's daddy's off the hook for the time being.
So it would seem. So yeah, the nobles in town, they're going about themselves, hustling about. It seems like a lot of folks want to go hunting. At this, the young boy Isaac, who's Count Ploknar's stepson, he exclaims, "Oh, father, I want to go on a hunt. Vanna, Alis, we should go too." Nearby, the little tawny-skinned half-elf girl, Liliana, she looks kind of confused. She's looking between her brother and Alis, seemingly searching for what she should think. Alis looks kind of conflicted as she notices Lily's reaction, but just then her twin sister walks up, carrying a couple of packages from Melon's shop. And she says, It's fine, Liz. Go ahead with them. I can look after Liliana and Eiglin. They'll want to stay with me anyway. Because, and from behind her back, she produces a colorful chest that says "Just Desserts," as well as one of the bottles of Frost Troll's milk. She says, "I brought some treats." At the mention of treats, the other children's faces light up, even that of the normally stoic Vanna Era. Yet an from Duchess Karina forestalls them. "Treats from the goblins, really?" Varnadil looks over as well, somewhat incredulous. He says, "How do you know these are safe?" At the question, Alexis looks excited and spends several minutes expounding on various magical tests she performed. And if you guys want, you can make Arcana checks to see if she's just BSing or not.
Mm-hmm.
Going once? Going twice?
All right.
Valena, you're looking at this little elven prodigy expounding about arcane matters, and your head kind of cocks to the side, and you're just kind of impressed at how many syllables she seems to be able to string together in words, some of which you've never heard before. Zalric, you're catching about every third or fourth word, and you're just like, yep, some of those are definitely words. No doubt about it. And let's see. She basically concludes, "So you see, the treats in the milk aren't magical themselves, but rather it's the containers that are. The box keeps whatever is inside of it fresh by holding it in a state of temporal suspension, but only if the contents could be classified as a dessert. Meanwhile, the milk bottle refills itself with regular cow's milk, and its cap holds an enchantment that keeps the contents chilled. So, I think it's kind of like the way that those winter berries work, but longer lasting. With that, she opens the box and holds it up for the adults to inspect, and after a few incantations by the trio of adults, they nod, impressed and satisfied by the young girl's explanation. These are quite good, actually, Karina says before motioning to the rather blue-looking Eladrin standing nearby. Alexis, dear, our poor fairy guest looks a bit flustered by all this excitement. Why don't you offer Velena and her guard some cookies to cheer them up? Alexis gives a quick curtsy, hesitating only long enough for her twin to take a cookie before approaching the morose Eladrin and her handsome guardian. Hello, Lady Velena. Mr. Zalric, would you care for some milk and cookies?
Sure. Thank you, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Cookies? What sort of cookies are these?
Well, these have chocolate chips, and I think there's also some chocolate morsels in them. These are sugar cookies, and I hope that these are oatmeal raisin.
Can I try the sugar?
Sure.
Zelric takes a chocolate chip.
Alrighty. They are delicious and nutritious. Did you care to have any of the Frost Troll's milk?
Yes, I will.
Sure.
All right.
Milk.
She offers the bottle up to you guys, and the milk is cold and delicious, and it does taste like cow's milk. It doesn't taste like anything funky.
I'm gonna also offer little bits to Pip while I'm eating and drinking.
He'll sniff at everything, but he won't eat everything.
Pip, your head is spinning a little bit in Velena's pocket, but you smell chocolatey delicious, and also sugar. It definitely smells sugar.
Yeah, sweets, like he'll definitely poke his head out and look around a little bit.
When you poke your head out of her pocket, you see that there's a small blonde girl there with pointed ears, sort of short. Her hair short cropped, and she's wearing what looks like long blue robes. And when you poke your head out of her pocket, she turns in your direction and says, "Aw, Bunny!" And she reaches out and scritches you on top of the head.
The ears bend all the way back.
Yes.
Oh, you can see Pip.
Pip? Well, the bunny? Yes, of course. Why wouldn't I? And looking behind the little blonde half elf, you can see that they're the two children who are even younger, who are still following her, kind of tentatively as their fathers wave them on, are kind of cocking their head and looking at what she's doing, and then looking up to you, and they just kind of look at each other and shrug their shoulders and like, "Sissy, what are you doing?" So apparently they don't see Pip, but Alexis does, for whatever reason. So yes, the two that are joining Alexis, that are apparently staying behind while the older kids go out on the hunt, are the little coppery-skinned half-elf Liliana, whose father is the ambassador, and the little boy who currently looks a little bit like winter-themed Velena, Eiglin, who's the son of Prince Varnadil. And he seems to be trying to emulate whatever it is that Liliana is presently doing, much to her chagrin. Jacob is not here. If he was, and if any of you were paying attention to this sort of very, very handsome, although garbed in a very dark-looking armor, young man, you would notice that there was a woman going besides him, just kind of clearing her throat, and it looks like he is approached by a nun who comments, You know, it's been 5 years since Roselle's Pantheon caught fire. There was supposed to be a dedication ceremony now that its restoration is complete, but I can see where everyone's priorities lie. Still, it's good to see you laughing again, Voltan. I'm sorry to hear about what happened. So, since in light of the fact that Jacob is not here, we shall... that will be the extent of our interactions with Sister Monica, who was his caretaker back at the youth hostel where he and his friend Feline lived up until their shenanigans got kicked out.
You mean the Ute Hospital?
The youths.
The Ute hostel. The Ute hostel. All right.
Let's go.
Ute. All right. Pickle. As the various nobles and their dignitaries mount up and ride south to hunt game, Bonk breathes a sigh of relief. Finally, maybe we'll get some rest around here. Let's get something to eat, kid. Then maybe we can set you up with some gear. Sure you got some questions for the boss, too.
I mean, kinda.
As if on cue, Melon takes her leave of the stage, leaving Emile in charge. Stepping back inside, she snaps her fingers, and a dining set pops into existence with a charcuterie board on top, and a couple empty tankers waiting to be filled. What's your poison, sugar? Beer, wine, or are you more of a whiskey drinker?
You got any milk?
Milk? Well, sure. And she pops back outside for a second, goes and fetches what might be the last bottle of Frost Troll milk, and brings it back inside. She pops the cork and pours it overhand into one of the tankards for you, and then she says, "Cheers." And with a little smirk, she sets it down on the table and then pulls a decanter of her own out of her bodice and proceeds to pour herself and Bonk some drinks before corking it and putting it right back. Bonk, however, waves off the drink and says, "Not right now, boss. I don't like the smell of this place. Too much perfume, not enough sweat. Got a bad feeling."
Oh, well. So, what do I owe you?
Melon shrugs her shoulders and she says, Don't worry about that, sweetie. I'm just interested to hear what your story is. I'm guessing it's a real tearjerker, isn't it?"
Maybe. But, nobody does something for nothing, so, why just bring me? Not that I ain't grateful, 'cause I am. I am, but...
Well, I'll tell you what. It's like this. She says, where did I misplace my notes? I had notes. Are they in super secret stuff? No. I'll just do it from memory. So she says, well, it's kind of like this, sugar. She says, we goblins are small. It's pretty easy for the big folk to push us around. So we got to stick up for one another if we want us to stick up for ourselves. So if someone of our ilk is getting mistreated, it behooves us to liberate them so that people don't think that we can be pushed around. On top of that, it just so happens that my business partners are in the habit of employing a large number of goblins, and I doubt they'd see the situation here in Roselle kindly if one of our members was being kept essentially as a slave against their will. That would put a number of the members of the labor union ill at ease, and being as this is a rather lucrative destination for us, I'd rather not pass up those sort of economic opportunities, if you catch my meaning. Besides, I kind of like the cut of your jib.
Thank you. Well, so, we gonna do something about my papa? that was the guy they were trying to drag away?
Well, by the looks of it, that elven ambassador, the tall, dark, handsome one, looks like he sort of cast a mass suggestion spell over the nobility, and most of them fell for it. So, including your dear papa. So I think for the time being, you're free. He seems if this hunt goes well, he should garner a good bit of support from the other nobles, and I imagine he'll be a little bit too esteemed in their eyes for Don Glovelli, that fat bastard, to want to mess with him anytime in the near future. So I think he's will be doing quite well.
Well, I hope so, because Clavelli's kind of got it out for us.
Yeah, so I've noticed, but, a man like that, I'm sure he has plenty of skeletons in his closet. It's only a matter of time before some bones fall out and incriminate him, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, heck yeah, I want to take him down. I want to drag the skeletons out. That jerk is the reason Ooh.
Yep. All right, so you and Melon continue to have a nice little snack together, and she does apologize for any potential freakouts you might have had with that potion that she had her assistants convey to you earlier.
I thought I was gonna die!
She says, well, I needed to make it convincing, otherwise no one else would have gone along with it. Of course, you may have overplayed your hand, springboarding off the fat man's head and giving him a poo crown to wear, but I can't quite say that I blame you. He certainly did.
Yeah. He took me away from my papa. He's been making me be his little, dog fighting, anything fighting, pet.
Well, it seems like you did pretty well for yourself. You got a few cool looking scars, and you're mostly in one piece. So that speaks pretty well to your talent.
But he's still a dick.
That he is. All right, Venito. You're looking at all the various interesting items that folks seem to be carting away. The other nobles, they've been buying up a lot of the stuff that this goblin caravan has here. They've completely sold out of youth cream. They've the little elf kids have bought up all the desserts and whatnot. The ambassador bought a whole bunch of this stuff called vampire wine, which you're not sure what the fuck is up with that. As you're looking over some of the things you have there, you can see a few things that were of interest to someone in your station, particularly some items that they're billing as taste tester spoons to detect if food is poisoned. However, when the little boy, Emil, quotes you a price of 10 gold pieces for that, and 3 for the aphrodisiac bubble bath they call naughty water, you realize that you don't actually have a whole lot of cash on you at the moment because of how you just sort of rolled into town after being on the road for so long. However, it occurs to you that your mother always had a room here at the hotel, since she frequently would do business out of this place and used it as her office. So you suspect you might be able to find some more things that you could use up in her suite in the hotel, if you want to go investigating and dig up some more pocket change from the couch cushions or what have you.
He's on a request from whichever goblin he happens to be speaking to at the moment. Can you hold on to these 2 items for me while I fatten my coin purse?
He says, yeah, sure, mister. I'll hold them for you, but, just don't take too long, because as you can see, the faster we sell out of stuff, the more everyone's willing to pay. So, I'll do you a favor, but I can't promise anything for too long.
Very well, thank you. So, he's going to turn to his friends that are standing there with him and ask if they would like to go with him to check out the room.
I believe that is Zalric and Valena who are currently with him.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, let's see.
Zelric's going to buy 2 apple bombs before he leaves.
Yep, you have no problem purchasing the apple bombs.
What about, how much are the lick toads?
The lick toad, they only have 1 lick toad, and it is 10 gold pieces.
Okay. I'll just take the 2 apple bombs.
Okay.
With that, 'cause everything else is off all the money that I have anyway, so.
Understandable. Yeah, no one seems to be clamoring for the lick toad right now. A couple of the kids were looking at it and laughing. One of them actually picked it up and tried smacking someone else with it, but the goblin who's keeping a lookout, who is up on the top of the caboose, was suddenly by their side, and it snatched it out of their hands faster than anyone could actually see. Before waving a little green finger at him, going, "I don't think so. Don't break the merchandise." So, the lick toad, for the time being, remains as yet unpurchased. So, you guys, Benito leads you around to the front doors of the Grand Hotel and leads you inside. You find yourselves in a very nicely appointed foyer. There's a couple clerks working at the desk. There's a couple booths up here as well. And he leads you further to the back, introducing you to a bar that's down here that has some musicians performing up on stage. Let's see. Where did my music go? Yeah, so it looks like it's got a fully stocked bar down here with 2 bartenders helping folks at all time. There's nice big hearths on either side of the room with crackling fires going in there, and in spite of the fact that it's late summer right now, there seems to be some sort of enchantment in here that's keeping the temperature comfortable, even though you've got the ambiance of these nice big crackling fires. He leads you back out upstairs on the other side of the hallway. There's a big gambling room in here with a female elf performing on a giant grand piano in the room, just sort of serenading everyone while people are busy playing blackjack or what have you. Further to the back, he leads you guys upstairs. Let me see, how do I get y'all back on the map here? Let's put that right there. Party star. Let me see, I'm just trying to find which room is Pravama's. Yeah, it's upstairs. Okay, so this floor has a number of baths on it, actually. He shows you inside. They've got these magical hot tubs that can be commanded to fill or drain on their own, and you can heat them to whatever temperature your wicked little hearts desire. There's also very nice new garderobes in here, complete with bidets, so that you may have that nice fresh feeling. And on this floor, it's mostly just single rooms rather than suites. And he tries to gain admittance, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to have his keys on him. So he kind of rattles the door handle for a second before remembering that, oh yeah, his mom's the one who owned the place. So he leads you guys further down. There's a big old balcony on the front that overlooks the street. Across the street, you can see the clock tower on the town's main bank. Off to your left, you can see the town square that currently has melons set up in it. And he will proceed to lead you upstairs to the level where his mother's suite is.
Oh, Vanita's never actually been here before, has he?
You've been here once or twice. It's just that it's not a stomping ground for you quite the same as Malatista is, because you had been up this way previously when it was still under construction, when the resort was still under construction, because this was not your first visit to Madrik Razlov's place.
Yeah.
And on your first visit, you weren't exactly as you and what's his name, Grom, weren't exactly quite as chummy with him as you are now, and so you did not stay at his estate on that occasion.
Valena's gonna pipe up as they're kind of going through, and she's going to inquire. By the way, do you happen to have any nice trees to sleep in?
We can find a nice tree here, I'm sure.
So, Venito, you do know that there's several trees planted around the exterior of the place. As you can see, they're the nicest trees are out in front, like over here on the two corners facing the bank. There's a few more that are around on the north side. There's a decently large one on the north side near the bar, and a couple on the east side. The ones on the north and east side are probably a little bit quieter if she wanted to, like sleep in a hammock or something like that.
Benito will explain that to her and say, why is it that you want to sleep in a tree, dear?
Oh, well, preferably one with sturdy branches. That's kind of how I've always slept, honestly.
And all by yourself in those trees?
Oh, well, Zolric's always been close by, but, yeah, I mean, pretty much. Oh, except for my friends, there were a couple of songbirds that were my friends, that would sometimes nest in the trees that I would be staying in. Every once in a while, too, I'd see an owl or two.
And of course, that invisible rabbit of yours.
He's not invisible. He's right here. And she points over to her shoulder.
You look and you do not see a rabbit.
Yes, very cute.
She just smiles.
Yeah, as you guys are out on the front balcony, conversing about trees, and you're looking and pointing out some of the ones down facing the town square and explaining about the ones on the north and opposite side being a bit quieter. You can look down on the street and you can see the little elven mage girl Alexis leading her two tiny charges around town and trying to keep them from running amok. You go back inside and you are doing your best to remember which of these rooms was your mother's. Give me a history check, please.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Not terrible.
12? Okay, after thinking for a moment, you seem to recall that the rooms on the back two corners of this floor, over here and over here, are the two largest suites. Now, would you say your mother prefers to be able to look out on the hubbub more, or would you say that she's probably the person who appreciates a bit more quiet?
She wants to see what's going on.
All right. With that, you quickly narrow it down, and when you put your hand on the handle of this door, you find that you can hear it magically unlock for you, and a soft voice calls out and says, "Welcome, Master Abattoir," and it admits you into the room.
That damn thing never gets the name right.
All right, so your mother's room. Zoom in. I say, zoom in. All right, so your mother's room is well appointed. There's a king-sized bed in the middle, which at present you can tell that it was left quite hastily. It looks like only one person was sleeping in it. There's a very large mirror nearby. She's got a very impressive-looking dresser over here. 2 chairs. And a nice big fireplace. And this room looks out over the little cafe on the east side. So you can see down there the few people who haven't gone on the hunt, who are now leisurely enjoying a late lunch. And further down in this direction, passing an elaborate painting of your family's estate in Cormare on the wall here, you make your way out onto the private balcony that overlooks the town square. And so you can see Melon and her Melon's handful and Melon's large chest down there in the town square, still doing a quite brisk business. In fact, there's a trio of women who seem to be arguing over something or other that's for sale, and you're guessing that it must be something that has either limited quantities or is perhaps sold out, because they seem to be going full Karen about it. If you would like to investigate the room and see if you can find anything of use.
All right. Everyone, give me a hand trying to find anything that may be of value in here. We need some gold, and we need some gold quickly.
Zelric helps be around and look for stuff.
All right, everyone, give me investigation checks. Or at least everyone who's in here.
Oh!
Landon's doing great. Okay, Zalric and Valena. Valena, you're inclined to inspect the fireplace and whatnot. Maybe seeming a little bit morose about the pieces of dead trees that are piled up in there for whatever reason. However, you do notice that they're on top of the mantle. There's a number of jars and boxes that have been made out of wood that appears to be like lovingly polished. A couple of them almost look like they're actually still alive. You find what looks like a miniature tree on top of the mantle on the side closest to the window, and there's a behind the box, or behind the planter that this little miniature tree is in. You reach back there and you can feel there's a pair of small snips that are lying behind it. So it looks like it's a little bit dry at the moment. If you wanted to try and water it.
Sure. Let me. Hold on. I'm gonna check something.
And Zolric, while Venito is looking in through the nightstands and sticking his head under the bed and seemingly doing everything else, you go over to to the dresser, and you're examining it, and you figure out that there's a couple buttons on it that you can press, and when you do, the front of the cabinet rolls away. It splits in the middle, and it rolls away to either side, and the drawers underneath split, like pivot outwards to the left and the right, and it forms a writing desk in there. And a chair, a stool, slides out from behind the drawers that you can sit upon. And when you're looking at the contents of it, you can see that there's a few coffers in here, along with some what look like there's some books and writing quills and other miscellaneous items of that sort.
What kind of books?
A few of them. There's a novel in there. On the spine of it, it reads Tusk Love.
It's everywhere.
What kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, it has a very provocative cover. It's got a very muscular orc, or maybe a half orc, with a white shirt that's kind of ripped away, and he's got like long black hair, kind of blowing in the wind, and he's holding in his arms it looks like an elven woman who's having trouble keeping her bodice together, who's sort of seems to be swooning in his arms.
Oh my gosh.
So that's one of the items you find. You also find what looks like it's a leather-bound journal with some sort of a locking mechanism on the cover. It looks kind of like almost like a star and a moon of some sort. You're not really sure, but when you pick it up, you can tell by looking at the sides of the book that maybe about the first 2/3 of the book, the pages look like they're a little bit rumpled, whereas the back third of the book looks like the sheets haven't been crinkled at all. So you're guessing either it's something that somebody's only read through part of the way, or maybe it's like a writing journal that's only 2/3 full.
Yeah. I'd probably assume it's some kind of like diary or something that's incomplete.
Yeah. So you also find in here there's a couple of books detailing they almost look like they're more like sheep, rather than books. They're more like scrolls and sheaves of parchment. They look like they're business related. Some of them are in regards to lumber shipments and procurement times. Some of them Some of them are marking out like quarry locations. You see some brochures in there for different bids on yachts from various shipbuilding companies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll take the coppers and whatever money I find and give to Venito.
All right. As you're poking around in there, you do find in towards the back of it there's some small shelves built into the corners, as well as an overhead ledge in there beneath which is a light that shines down on the interior, making it easy to read and write. And while you're poking around there, you do find a few pouches that seem to have some heft to them. And when you open them, you can indeed see that at least 2 of them are full of money.
Venito, I think I've found what you were looking for.
Ah, yes, we have some books here. We'll have to check those out. And what is that?
Yeah.
He's going to take the pouch and open it up and look how much is in there.
All right. Did Zalric attempt to purloin any of the contents of the pouch before handing it over and bringing it to Venito's attention?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So the pouch contains In one of the pouches, you find 49 gold pieces.
Ooh.
And the other pouch, it looks like it's got some smaller denominations in it. That one has 85 silver pieces in it.
I'll say. Is it 100 makes a gold, or is it 10 that makes a gold?
10 makes a gold, so that would be equivalent to 8.5 gold pieces.
Sorry, so you said how many gold pieces?
What did I say? I think 40. Did I say 45?
49.
49. Okay. Yes.
And 89 silver.
Yes. 85
and
silver.
10 silver pieces make a gold piece.
Yes. So 49 gold, 85 silver.
While they're doing that too, Valena is going to kind of reach out and gesticulate with her hands, and a little small, tiny, like rain cloud is going to form over the plant that she found, and is going to lightly rain on it.
All right, you use your druid craftiness to form a little rain cloud over the bonsai plant and cause it to precipitate upon it. The marble mantle gets a bit wet from it, but it looks none the worse from wear. And after about 30-40 seconds or so, you test the dirt with your finger, and you think that it's properly moistened for the next few days.
She'll smile and nod to herself.
Excellent. Venito, you give me a perception check while that's happening. You hear what sounds like the world's tiniest like thunderbolt, and when you turn around to look, you see your little blue friend with white hair standing there, making it rain on one of your mother's plants on the mantle.
Impressive.
Kind of neat.
Does that little plant provide us with anything?
Give me a nature check.
Nature check.
I couldn't just let it waste away and die.
Oh, look at that.
Venito, you recognize this as a cutting from one of the trees back on your family's estate in Cormare. A little piece of home that your mother brought along here and was caring for. And she's somehow, you're not sure if it's magic or what, but she's somehow managed to keep it in a miniaturized form all this time. She always seems to take pretty good care of it, to the point where you've kind of grumbled at times, wondering why she spends so much attention on that plant rather than on supporting your various vices, of which there are many.
Valena, I believe that plant may be important. Can you keep that and take care of it for us?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'd hate for it to wither away like everything else.
All right, so you now have in your possession one small bonsai plant.
And Zelric will mention to Venito that there was a few items at the caravan that he thought would be of use to us in the future, but
yes, of course, points here. But let's take a look at those documents that you found. Is there any? Let me see if there's anything important in those that we need to know about.
All right, go ahead and give me an investigation check whilst you look through those documents.
Can I assist and see if I can decipher what's in any of them and do them as well?
Sure. Go ahead.
Probably.
Okay, Zalric, there's you're trying to look through them. You can tell which ones sort of look like marketing materials, but the rest of the stuff, it's kind of in a. You're not the target demographic by any means, and so some of these are a little bit out of your league. Veneto, however, looking through them, he after oohing and ahhing over, kind of getting a faraway look in his eyes as he's imagining what he could do with a new yacht and perhaps some attractive companionship if he had some of those naughty water bubbles in his possession. He eventually dismisses that thought from his mind and starts looking through the documents related to the procurement of goods and services for the Carnelian Grand Hotel. As you're perusing them, you notice in some instances there seem to be a number of times when payments were made for goods and services where Glovelli ended up having to come back and either complain that the payments were short or that the materials never arrived or whatnot. And your mother, who's always very, she might have been unbearable to deal with, but she was always extremely detail-oriented. So you can see her misgivings in it and her frustrations at with Glovelli, basically. And she seems fairly well convinced that he's swindling her, but that but the sentiment that she only has to put up with him for so long before she succeeds in wresting the Roselle hinterlands away from him and seeing to it that he's replaced, possibly by you. So it looks like she was tolerating his nonsense and operating under the assumption that Glovelli would either get himself in trouble with the wrong people who would take care of the problem for her, or that she might have to see to it herself. And this was written in her. She made some notes to that effect in her journal, and in some lingo that really only members of your family would be familiar with. So to anyone else, it would look like she was just like waxing poetic about the local opera or something like that, or trying to do some sort of wordplay. And those portions, you can tell, are written in Infernal. So a little bit of your mother's
and a little bit of an app.
Handiwork. Yeah.
I may need to. Anyway,
as you're going about this, you hear the hairs on the back of your neck stand up as you hear your mother's voice going, and you turn around, and when you look at the mirror off to the side of the room, you can see Pravama standing there, looking just a little bit agitated.
What? Mother, is that you?
She says, "Well, yes. Who else do you think it would be looking through my scrying mirror into my own room? Veneto, what are you doing, and who are they?"
They are friends, I suppose.
You suppose? How long have you known them?
Oh, a very long time.
Make a deception check.
5 minutes.
Hours, not days.
Hours, not days. Yeah, she scowls at you, and you can give me a perception check as you're watching the projection in the mirror. Yeah. Velena and Zalric can also give perception checks if they like. Zalric, as you're watching, you can see that this tall, attractive, if stern-looking, elven woman, it looks like she keeps shifting her stance as she's speaking, as if she's standing on an unstable footing. Perhaps something that's moving or whatnot. And you gather that she's probably on a ship at sea.
He does a bow and says, "Pleasure to meet you, my lady. I hope your travels are going well."
She switches back from the language that she was speaking in to Veneto and says in Sylvan. She says, "Why, thank you. Yes, my travels. They could be going better. I had not anticipated traveling at this time, and I'd also anticipated my son being near at hand instead of us separated as we are right now." And then she switches back to Infernal again. She says, "Veneto, why didn't you come to the ship like I had instructed you to? Why are you in Rizal right now? Don't you know that there's assassins everywhere?"
There's assassins, yes, of course. I'm trying to remember. Actually, give me a second. I'm trying to remember exactly how we talked about the storyline.
So when you were in Malatesta, you were confronted by, when you were hanging out with Grom, you were confronted by members of the Order of the Wasp who accosted you, and they were going to murder the fuck out of you after you'd finished drinking in this tavern. When they saw Grom, recognized that he was a member of the Lightbringers, and out of deference to that order of knights, offered to let him be the one to exact justice upon you. And if he was to refuse, they would have killed him and you.
Yeah.
So, with
but the thing I was trying to remember is, Benito actually did get the sending from her.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he actually did get the sending from her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's gonna say, but he still doesn't know everything. So he's gonna say, Mother, I have much more left to do here. I have to recapture our strength here. I need to rebuild what we've lost.
She sighs and rubs her forehead. She says, "You do know that the Witchlight Carnival is supposed to be arriving any day now, right?"
Yes, I've heard about that, and I actually have something to do there, apparently.
You have something to do there? Well, you're supposed to be... In my absence, I need you to manage the town's affairs and see to it that everything goes smoothly. We can't... I've got quite a great deal of our family fortunes tied up in this place, and now that Orsini is gone, that somewhat curtails my influence in Malatesta, much less access to his banking fortune.
I assume he took a spill or something of the nature?
Oh, my dear boy. Well, yes, I suppose if you consult with the local town criers, that's what happened. In reality, this was a three-prong attack on myself, you, and Orsini by the Order of the Wasp. He was murdered in our estate in Malatesta.
Oh, poor man.
Yes.
Anyway.
She just kind of glowers at you and shakes her head, and she says, "Anyway, there's some gold and silver in my writing desk if you need it, but don't spend the whole thing on prostitutes."
I never paid for it. Not much, anyway.
He says, "Anyway, get out of my bedroom. I don't want you getting anything on the bedspread. Find another place to stay."
Very well. So, you are going back to Khmer then?
Yes, I'm going back there to see if I can find any support amongst our family to see what our options are. Whether that's putting out a hit on Glovelli, because I'm sure he had to have had some hand in this. Like as greedy and as callow as he is, I can't imagine that something like this would happen in his province without him knowing about it.
He also appears to be an imbecile, but sure.
She gives you a knowing nod. She says, "I see you found that out already. How long have you been there? 30 minutes?"
Almost.
No, you're quite perceptive then. Anyway, this my scrying spell is about to time out. Stay out of trouble, and in spite of yourself, I do love you.
Ah, thank you. I love you too, dear.
And with that, the vision in the mirror kind of goes whoa, and it just kind of fades out to black again, and then you once more see the reflection of the interior of the room.
Ah, great. So I'm expected to take over this stupid little town? Fantastic.
All right. So are you speaking in Elvish or Sylvan or Common again now?
Just so my friends can hear common.
Okay. All right.
And he's going to say that we got 49 gold. Does anybody else need anything from the vendor? From the big bosom?
I think that lick toad and a couple of those Esther spoons might come in handy.
Oh, we have a little bit of coin now. Let's see what we can get.
All right. So you guys make your way back down to the caboose, the stage that's still in the middle of the town square there, and you're able to conduct your purchases. So you're able to procure, because Emil set it aside for you. Is the very last taste tester spoon that they have left, and he's willing to sell it to you for the 10 gold that it was originally listed at, back when there were still 3 remaining. So you've got one of those now. You were also purchasing the lick toad. He picks it up and he looks at it kind of longingly, and he just kind of gives a sigh and he says, Well, little friend, I guess this is where we say goodbye." And he holds it out and holds out his other hand, and when he gets your 10 gold pieces, he hands the lick toad over to you. And when you're looking at it, you can see that in spite of the fact that this frog is tied to the end of what looks like a wand, the frog is still very much alive, and it seems to be in perfectly good health.
Well, Melina's a plant person, right? Or just nature in general?
She is nature in general.
Valina, can you look after this little fellow and make sure he does okay? She may be gone.
Maybe. Let's see. Emmett had messaged me. What did he say? Oh, that's a very fancy rabbit. Cool. Kelsey, are you still there? Kelsey.
Well, I guess it was Zalric that actually wanted the lick toad, is he?
Yeah.
I guess I'll hold on to it until Lena's back and we can ask her about it.
You should probably make sure the little fellow doesn't die. I don't know how that will affect his usefulness.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
All right. So you guys finish purchasing whatever else it was that you'd wanted from it.
The other
from
was
them.
the aphrodisiac, the bubbles, or the naughty water.
Yes, you purchase a vial of naughty water, and you can see these guys. Inside the caboose, you can, as you're talking with Melon and having the finest cuts of meat and cheese, pickle. You'd recognize some of these elves that are currently purchasing stuff from Emil. The elf woman with the white hair and who's kind of looking sage. You recognize her. You recognize the tall, dark elf with her, and as well as the kind of young, arrogant looking blonde guy with the ponytail who's hanging along with them. They all seem like they were somewhat sympathetic to your plight, or at least interested when you saw them the night before. And thankfully, Don Glovelli is not hanging around with him this time. And as you're talking, the Melon notices that you're kind of distracted, looking with them. She says, "Sweetie, I can see that you really want to stretch your legs. So how about I hook you up with a disguise so that you can walk about on your own without any sort of harassment?"
Like what?
She says, I wonder. Kelsey's back. She says, well, you tell me. Is there a particular look that you like?
Kinda just like the way I look already.
She says, well, I mean, the raccoon skin is pretty cute, but I was thinking so that if anyone around town who might recognize a little runaway green gladiator saw you, they might be inclined to think that you're somebody else.
I don't know. I think that's weird. How long is it gonna last anyway?
She says, well, rather than casting magic on you, which will just time out on its own, how about I give you a few little things to help you out with? And she turns around and she wags a finger at a big stagecoach chest that she's got up against one wall of the interior, and then she crooks a finger at a tall armoire that's next to it, and she starts looking through there, and she says, yes, I think this'll do. And she pulls out a big gray cloak from the armoire, and she swirls it around behind your back and clasps it for you. And then she also finds a hat that looks like it might have been made out of a beaver. And she puts that on your head. And while she's doing this, she finds some makeup, and she says, "Now sit still and don't move too much, okay?" And she ends up painting a little black mustache onto your upper lip, and when she does, it's not just paint. When you go in to touch it, it's actually like seems like a real mustache. And she says, "Now don't touch that too much. That'll come off if you play with it. But it looks real enough for now."
What? I don't want a mustache. I'm not. Okay.
She says, "Well, fine." And then she goes down to your chin and paints you a little goatee as well. There.
Hey.
Now nobody will recognize you.
Great.
She says, "Don't worry. We can wash that off later. But for now, that'll hopefully keep you safe." She says, "Bonk, my dear." "Yeah, boss, what do you want?" He says, "Why don't you see about hooking her up with some self-defense equipment, if you know what I mean?" And Bonk nods knowingly and says, "All right, kids, so do you prefer to bash stuff, poke it, or chop it up?
Um,
What's your preference?
I'm pretty good at bashing. Like, I don't know. I just use whatever they give me in the when.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, we all use whatever we got, but if you had your choice, what would you go with? Like a big sword, a war hammer, a spiky ball? What you think?
Hammer.
Hammer? All right, it's hammer time. And she goes over to another armoire in the room, and this one's actually metallic, and when it opens up, you can see that there's all sorts of weapons in it. There's like goblin-sized pole arms. There's bows in there. There's crossbows. There's heavy weapons. There's a ton of daggers on it, and she reaches in there, and it looks like a big ass two-handed maul that she picks up with just one hand and hands it over to you. And she says, "Try this on. See how you like this. Just don't break anything."
As if I would do that.
I mean,
Kind of like the big old hammer I got in the picture.
yes, exactly like that. She says, "You need a sidearm or anything like a
what?
like a backup weapon."
I don't know.
At this, Melon kind of laughs and says, I always find it to be a good idea to have something I can use if I'm at range, just in case, I want to not get up close and personal and if something's a little bit out of reach.
Do I know how to use anything like that?
I don't know. Let's see what you're proficient with.
Well, if she's can do martial weapons, then a longbow would be.
I'm too small for a long bow.
It is true. You are quite small. Let's see.
A heavy crossbow.
Let's see. Hand.
The thing about longbow is it uses your strength for the.
Actually, a hand crossbow is a martial ranged weapon. She has some of those.
But it doesn't use fire.
And they've also got light crossbows as well, which do more damage, but they're slower to fire.
I'm up for recommendations, because I don't know.
Melon says, if she's not really sure, don't give her one of the expensive ones. Just give her one of those medium-sized crossbows, maybe. That way, if she breaks it, she's not damaging my one of my expensive ones. And Bonk just kind of nods and says, "Yeah, I suppose you got a point there." He says, "All right, kid. So you've used a bow before, right?"
I mean, yeah, my papa's a hunter.
Well, tell you what. Do you prefer a crossbow or do you prefer a bow? Bow's probably simpler. Here, forget the crossbow. Here, take a bow. And she gives you a short bow to use, along with a quiver full of arrows. And she says, "Now, just try not to go putting your eye out with one of those things, okay?"
I'm stupid.
I'm just saying, I'm not the one who was stuck in a cage.
Hey, there was a story behind that.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
I had to be, because he was going to arrest my papa, because I killed his hunting dog, because it was rabid.
Yeah, that Viscount doesn't seem like he's super bright. Definitely vindictive, though. Definitely vindictive.
Ain't whistling Dixie.
So,
Because it doesn't exist in this world.
What doesn't exist in this world?
I said he ain't whistling Dixie, and I'm like, well, yeah, because it doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah. All right. So you're pretty well geared up, and as you get ready to depart and just go explore the town a bit on your own, she says,
What am I adding to my character sheet?
She says, "Oh, by the way, take this just in case you need it." And she also hands you a dagger in case you need, something for up close and personal if you drop your big weapon.
Why do I have a hand axe and a javelin?
I don't know. That was probably stuff that you got specced out with originally.
Yeah, I didn't pick them.
Mm-hmm. Well, whatevs.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, if you would rather have javelins than a bow, you can add your strength bonus to damage with a javelin.
Well, it's already there, so sure,
All
why
right.
not?
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, you can have a hand axe as well as a big old hammer.
Apparently, I have 2 of those.
Oh, all right. Well,
But I can just pretend to pick those up along the way. I don't know.
yeah. There's tons of stuff here. So
I have a shield, too.
Yep.
Shield of expression. I don't remember picking any of this stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. So as you're getting ready to leave, Melon says, "You know what? I think I've got something for sale outside that I think would probably be a great accompaniment to your little adventuring kit you've got on." And she says, "Here, come with me."
Okay, but I ain't got no money.
She says, "Don't worry about that for now. I'm thinking you're probably going to want to look at employment opportunities with the carnival when it arrives, in which case, I'll get a referral fee if you decide to start working there." And she leads you outside, and one of the items that's hanging on the sides of the stage, on the walls, it's a small round shield like a targe. And it's the right size for a goblin to wield, and the whole thing it's painted green, and it's got like a curved line on the bottom of it, and then 2 dots right above this curved line. And when you look at it, it almost looks like a frowning face.
Yeah.
And she takes it down and holds it and says, "Here, check this out." And when she does, she concentrates for a moment, and the upside down curved line and the 2 dots kind of the paint for them kind of swirls around the shield, and it ends up forming like the face of a goblin in the center, and the goblin is like sticking its tongue out, and one of its eyes is closed. And then she says, "Or how about this?" And then the goblin is kind of giving a cheeky wink, and it's holding a finger up to its bottom lip. And she says, "Oh, maybe this." And then the shield shifts again, and now the little goblin face on it is kind of scowling and looks angry. And she says, I like to call this the shield of expression. So you can, if you just concentrate for a brief moment, you can make the surface of it look like any sort of expression you want. It kind of helps with sending a message to people who might not understand what you're saying.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
It was just a little something I whipped up with. A bit of alchemy, if you will. Anyway, get out of here, kid. I've got a business to run. And with that, she just kind of shoos you off.
How long's this mustache mess last?
You're not entirely sure, but she said that it should last at least until it gets dark and no one's able to really see what you're doing too much.
Also said it could wash off.
Yes. So you guys, I don't think Pickles really got a whole lot of money in case she wanted to buy anything, but
I have none.
None. Yeah. So, was there anything that you guys wanted to do in town presently before we fast forward to this evening?
Yes, we wanted to go see if we could find what's his face.
What's whose face?
Hold on a second. There's somebody in town.
Are you talking about the guy that you're not actually looking for? He just said to say hi to?
Yes, that guy. I'm looking for it. What was that guy's name?
Started with an L, didn't it?
Yes. His name is Landry.
Landry, yeah.
Landry Di Serono.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind asking around and seeing if anybody knows where he is so we can go say hi.
All right, let's see. What would be a good skill check for that? All right, so you guys wander around town for a bit asking about that. Give me some persuasion checks to see if you can coax that information out of anyone here in town.
Alright. Oh, somebody got a 16. Nice. Jesus Christ, really?
You haven't been rolling so hot today. Damn. All right, well, Zalric, despite the fact that he's new to this plane of existence, seems to, perhaps it's his dashing good looks and his quiet, stoic nature. As you guys are going around town asking about this Landry fellow, one of the there's a girl with coppery red hair. She's actually one of the maids at the hotel itself. Let me find her picture here. Witchlight artwork.
That's who I might be looking for.
Let's see. NPCs backstory.
Is she my friend?
There's NPCs list.
Wrong window. This window. Okay. So yeah, you see a girl, and she's got very voluminous red hair and her face full of freckles, big green eyes. She looks like she's pretty young, like maybe 17, 18-year-old.
Don't hit on her.
And she says, "Oh, you're looking for Landry? Well, I know him. My friend and I, we're actually staying at his house. It's he's got a big vineyard over on the east side of town. I can show you where after my shift gets off. I'm kind of working here for another few hours. And who did you say yours was again?
Sorry, are you talking or can
Say what?
John? Okay, I guess not.
Well, when she says that she knows who you're talking about, I'm assuming that John would that Zalric would kind of wave you over as well.
Yes.
Can I be looking for her?
You hear me?
Yes,
you can be looking for Faline if you want.
Yeah, 'cause she's my friend.
Yeah, so you encounter the maid out on the ground floor patio of the hotel. She was basically cleaning up after some guests who had already finished their late lunch when you accosted her. And Pickle, you can actually see her as you're making your way across the town square in your little beaver hat and gray cloak. And she's talking with those same three elves that you saw not too long ago over at Melon's big chest.
Can I have would they have maybe given me some of the tasty food stuffs to take with me just in caseies?
Like some of the stuff from the charcuterie board?
Yeah, or whatever it was we were nomming.
You are perfectly... Yes, she would have had no problem with you taking some pocket ham to accompany you on your journey. So yes, you have pocket ham and probably some pocket cheese, maybe even some pocket sausage.
Okay, well, I will toddle on up to Miss Baleen.
All right, so you head over to them. Let me switch the map. So let me drag this over there. All right, most of these people are not around at this point. They've all gone hunting. Let me get them out of here to clean things up. She went hunting, he went hunting, she went hunting, he's tagging along with Alexis, he went hunting, she's being copycatted by him because he likes her, Alis went hunting, Arvinder went hunting, hey, this chick is still here, Benito's still here, Zalric is here. Alexis is leading these guys to a pastry shop. Raul's gone. He's gone. I think that's everyone. Yeah. So you guys are talking to Feline. I'm going to assume that Valena somehow found a way to. She's down on the grass instead of standing on stonework, so she's currently lounging beside a tree, as she maybe wants to do. And you come over here. Who did you want to approach? Did you want to approach Feline directly?
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. So you're down on the ground level, and the patio is raised up a couple feet. So from where you're standing, your chin can just kind of look over the edge of it and see her. Do you do anything to try and get your attention? Because she's currently speaking to these tall folk, the long shanks.
So from where I'm standing, is like she within like skirt tugging range?
Give me an acrobatics check to see if you can stretch your little arm out far enough to yank on the hem of her dress. It's pretty close.
Okay. 11.
11. You reach your hand out and you're kind of swatting at the edge of her dress. Zalric, Voltan, Zalric and Venito, give me perception checks.
Dirty 20.
All right. Landon is apparently, or Venito is apparently preoccupied with checking out how much this maid at his hotel fills out her bodice, and doesn't really notice the little green arm that's like waving through the bars of the little balcony or what's it called? Banister. He doesn't notice the little green arm waving through the banister. Zalric, however, does. You see this little goblin hand like waving through the bars down near ankle level for this Feline lady that you're speaking with.
Zelric stoops down and goes, "Hey, you need something? Who are you?"
What's that? And she'll point over the other way.
All right. Seeing you stoop down and start talking, Feline turns around to look at what's going on, and she cocks her head to one side and she says, and let me roll for her. She says, can I help you? She doesn't seem to recognize you in your excellent disguise.
Do you know many green little people?
She says, well, I know one. There was this little goblin girl who was in that cage over there last night and earlier today.
And I'm gonna wink.
She says, she says, oh my God, that was you? What happened? You're a dude.
What part of don't you understand?
I've never been really renowned for my discretion or indoor voice. So, yeah. He says, I thought you blew up.
I thought I did too.
Well, you got better real fast. And she, after a moment, she kind of remembers herself, and she like turns beet red in the face, and she stands up and turns back around to and looks at Veneto, and she just kind of like bows, and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. I just kind of got distracted. So yeah, like I was saying, I can introduce you to Mr. Disaronno after I get off work here, but you know, I'm not the boss of me, so I can't just go leaving on my own. But if you wanted to say talk to my manager or something, you know, maybe they could work something out."
I suppose we could do that.
Are you going to let slip to her the fact that you run this establishment?
So what?
Are you going to let slip to her that the fact that you kind of run this establishment in your mother's absence?
Oh, I guess that is true, right?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I am your manager at this point. I am Benito Ambitiose. My family.
She says, how do you say that again?
Ambitiose.
Ambitiose.
Bless you.
Oh my God, that's the name of the lady who almost got shot here. That's your mom?
Of course. You may not have got it quite correct, but you did look wonderful saying it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Your mom's carriage ran over my freaking friend and killed her.
You want I should knock his knees in?
I don't know. She says, "Holy crap!" She does just like she drops the tray that she was carrying, which still had like partially like full drinks on it, and it like shatters on the ground in front of her, and she just kind of backs up and has a seat in the chair there, and she's like, "Oh my God, Voltan's gonna shit a brick." Oh man, I don't. Oh, this is a weird spot to be in. He might kill you. I don't know. He's not a real rational guy.
I'll come over there, pull up a chair, and sit beside of her and say, "Can you explain to me exactly what you mean? Don't understand what you're saying."
Oh my God! So my best friend, he, let me roll. So you kind of. Give me an insight check.
Oh.
All of you can if you want. Kelsey, your character's standing close enough to overhear all this stuff too.
Okay.
7.
It's all right. Valena. So, Valena, you get the sense that this very loud human child is maybe a little bit too open and trusting and doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot of a filter, and is quite possibly saying things that maybe she shouldn't ought to be revealing. But she says, she starts out and she says, "Well, so my friend Voltan, he's a good-looking kid, but he's got a bit of a temper on him. We grew up in the same orphanage, and he doesn't care too much for people of your social station, shall we say? And
are you an orphan?"
Well, I mean, yeah.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that.
Why? What's wrong with being an orphan? And she kind of looks annoyed at your implication that there's something wrong with being an orphan. She says, "Oh, anyway, so he doesn't exactly have the most high of esteem for the upper crust customers like yourself, and I guess he heard that there was some sort of a protest going on up here, and he wanted in on it to speak his mind, and." When his girlfriend found out about it, she wanted to come up here and I don't know if she wanted to stop him or join him or just support him or what, but we came riding up here after him against my protests, and that's when we started hearing musket fire and all sorts of craziness, and this big old fancy carriage plated with gold and shit comes barreling out of the town right for us when her freaking horse gets shot. And she's just a city girl. We both are city girls. I got street smarts, but I don't got, I'm not a great rider or nothing. And well, her horse gets shot and it bucks and throws her into the street. And then she freaking gets run over by the goddamn carriage. Broke her neck.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's what I said. That Voltan's been broken up about for a week. He got shot. I thought he was going to croak. Only reason he's still alive is because Mr. Di Serrano's wife used to be a priest at the Pantheon before it burned down, and he had a whole stash of healing supplies in his house.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is kind of an awkward spot.
Oh, I'm sorry for all of that. I'm sure it was unintentional.
Well, yeah, she looked. Your mom looked like she was running for her life. The first thing I had to do when I got up here, after I finished taking care of my friends, was my boss wanted me to help scrub away all the brains that was left on the side of the hotel from where one of her gods got her brains blown out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, it was a rather bad night for me and my family.
You're telling me.
Had to run for our lives.
Well, when you're running for your lives, maybe just try to make sure you don't go running over any of us little folk. We got people who care about us too, mister.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sorry. Absolutely terribly sorry for all of that. And is this young fellow or this young man here one of yours?
Which you mean Valtan?
No, the young man over here with the impressive mustache.
Well, I guess you might say that we're kind of new acquaintances, but she's a patron of the. He is a patron of our fine establishment as of recently. Make an insight check. Landon, Venito thinks that she is lying in an attempt to cover for this goblin. You're not sure how you can tell, but you can tell. Zalric, you seem to sense that she is somewhat flustered when being asked about the goblin.
No matter. I'm sure your friend here is completely trustworthy.
Yep, that's me. Trustworthy. Yep.
And he's going to take a closer look at her.
Hey.
Does anything about this little guy?
All right, give me a perception check.
Come on.
So it looks like a little goblin wearing a hat that seems to be made from a beaver. Their clothes look like they're wearing a cloak that's covering up most of their form, but you can see the haft of a gigantic, some sort of a big heavy weapon sticking up past their back, as well as what looks like the recurve of a bow that they've got slung over their shoulder, and looks like they might have a couple other weapons on their belt, a couple axes, maybe a dagger. Their boots seem like they're kind of on the big side, but in spite of being small, this goblin looks really, really sturdily built, like really, really muscular. With that perception check result of yours, their muscular appearance and their kind of rough clothes seems a little bit out of contrast with how well manicured their handlebar mustache and rather dapper goatee is, but you don't really notice too much beyond that.
Sir? What's
Yeah.
your name?
Mustachio the Great. I don't know.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Pistachio the Great. And he's going to hold out his hand to Pickle.
She'll take it and shake it, but she's looking at him like he's kind of lost his marbles.
Pistachio the Great, I love it.
Mustachio.
Yes,
Pistachio. Mustache.
Pistachio is funnier because you're green.
Yeah, well, she's thinking about the mustache.
Yeah. Is Valena doing anything while all this shenanigans are going down?
Kind of observing
Just kind
in the
of
background.
overwhelmed by all the extroversion and whatnot.
Not particularly. I think she's just kind of observing from the background.
Okay, is she still looking like Winter, or is she molded back to her normal form?
I'd say at this point she's probably molted back to an autumn form. So she's very much like in a calm state.
Multi-sided. Let's choose. This is like the coolest thing ever. Boop.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So you basically just right click on the token and then multi-sided. You can either do a random side, or you can choose a side, and then it's got a little slider and boop 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 like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat? All right.
Yeah, Vanita's going to turn back to the Finnis. No, not Finnis.
She says Faline. It's like Harleen, but with an F.
Why you said Faline?
Faline says, I am so sorry for your loss. Is there anything that I can do to help you?
Well, I mean...
You explain it on thick.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could apologize and explain that you guys were kind of running for your lives. I mean, I suppose a fella might understand and appreciate that. I mean, to me, I think it would show your care. I don't know how he'll take it, because he's, like I said, he can be kind of a hothead. He's kind of ruled by his emotions rather than his sense, you know. But I mean, you never know.
Of course, I will do my best. And if you can, take us to our friend this evening. Now, if you can, that would be great. And you can even bring your little bodyguard, Mustachio the Great. if you think that's appropriate.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you're the big boss here, I guess. So I guess there's no problem. And she gets up and almost slips when she steps on the tray that's still lying on the ground right where you guys are standing. And
Careful.
it's the craziest thing. She steps on it, and it slips out from under her and goes shooting off behind her, like underneath the table, and ricochets off the chairs with a loud sound. And she like tumbles forward, but she like reaches out with her right hand and grasps the banister, and she just kind of like kicks her feet up, and she ends up sitting on the railing, like over between you and Valena. And she just looks a little bit flustered, and she reaches up and smooths her hair down and says, wow, well, yeah, what you waiting for?
No,
I didn't know you could do that.
Zelric extends a hand.
She says, no, I'm good. And she tries to hop down off of the railing, and she lands in the grass right next to Mustachio the Great without too much further fanfare. Yeah, she rolled a nat 20 on her dexterity save.
And it totally just went over everybody's head that, like, she had just been talking about, oh yeah, I knew a little goblin girl. Oh wait, that's you! What part of shush don't you understand?
Yep. Nobody
That
knows.
totally went over his head.
Well, Vanita's not pointing it out.
Yeah, I think Zelric kind of picked up on that, but he's not gonna.
I mean, Vanita's might be not the brightest thing, but I think he's figured that out and is playing along with the facade.
Indeed. All right, let's take a quick break so that we may relieve our bladders and come back refreshed and renewed for more D&D.
All right.
Oh, my tongue.
Boogers.
Boogers.
You beat me to it.
Her name's not Boogers, it's Mustachio.
Hey. Why
Pistachio?
are we calling me into this? Nope.
Because you're green. You're green and you're green.
Small
and green. I mean, if it's a big green booger, then we got a problem.
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
No.
No,
All right,
just
so
no.
Feline leads you guys out of town and off to the east side of Roselle. So, when you guys go down the lane, you go through the woods, you come out of the woods on the opposite side of some fields. There's a little bridge that's built over the stream over on the east side, and after you get through that copse of trees over there, you find yourselves at a small vineyard. It's got some nice looking houses there, rows and rows of grapes stretching out into the hillsides to the east of Roselle, and it's quiet. It's a lot quieter than the town itself. And as you
Valena's going to be intrigued by the grapevines and is going to approach them and kind of take a sniff at them and inspect them.
Okay. You approach the grapevines. It looks like they have quite a number of the rows of grapes. Look like they've already been harvested. You can see where the vines have been cut and the bunches of grapes have been removed. And then you can also see, as you're proceeding onto the estate, where there are rows that still have grapes on the vines. And it's at the point where you're transitioning between the two that you can hear someone whistling a tune down one of the rows. And when you turn to look and investigate, you see an older human gentleman. He's got graying hair. He's kind of wearing some well-made, but a little bit dirty clothing. A white shirt, vest, blue kerchief around his neck. And this man looks like a leather sack with eyes. And
Interesting description.
yes.
That made me think of City Slickers.
Yes.
Did you see how leathery he was? It's like a saddlebag with
Helena is gonna actually reach out and grab one of the grapes and just experimentally pop it in her mouth and chew it around.
All right, you have it. It's sweet. It has a slightly smoky flavor to it. You suspect that it would make a very nice wine. Your wine is a product that the Feywild greatly appreciates, and they have been known to import from various planes of existence, including the material plane. And you suspect that this would make for a pretty nice vintage. Were you going to consult with Pip and see what he thinks of these grapes?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'll take another one and I'll give one to Pip.
All right. You reach into your pocket, and it looks like Pip has fallen asleep, but you're able to wake him up by scritching his belly, and sensing that there's food nearby, he grasps the grape, which is half the size of his head, between his paws, and he starts going to town on it, like almost like if somebody was eating a very mushy potato, just kind of going around it until he's consumed the whole thing. And then he stands up on his hind legs, looking out from the pocket expectantly, as if he's looking for more.
Aww.
Yeah. I'll grab another one and give it to him.
All right. Seeing
Rabbit is high.
as you're plundering this orchard's vast wealth of grapes, the old man notices that you're there, and he stands up and says, "Can I help you folks?" And upon saying so, Feline turns around and says, "Oh, Mr. Di Serono, these folks were actually looking for you. This is Venito Bambuzioso. He owns I think his mom's the one who owns the big hotel up in town." He says,
Hello, sir. I am Venito Ambendiosa. I am the
Your problem is air, I take it, huh?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Your problem is air, I take it. Pravuma is your mother's name, at least the way I think it's
that is, of course, one of my problems. I am also the student of a friend of yours.
A friend of mine? And who might that be?
That would be... let me just find his name real quick.
Madrick Rosloff.
What was that?
Madrick Rosloff.
Yeah, he's going to say Rosloff.
Oh, you know old Rosloff, huh? I haven't seen him in a couple years. How's the old fart doing? Still monkeying about with his pumpkins and his mystery fantasy women?
Yes, fantastic pumpkins and fantastic mystery fantasy women that are not so mysterious, and yet still mysterious.
Oh, don't tell me you see him too.
Yes, and it is, yes, I have.
Huh.
I must say it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I'm sure. And he stands up, and you can see that he had a big basket. You could probably, you're not even sure if you could put your arms around this basket. It's so large. He had a huge basket in front of him. What were you saying, Aaron?
I said, Kelsey, you might want to turn the noise canceling function on because we can hear your keyboard.
How do you do that?
Do you see where it says voice connected?
No.
Down in the bottom left corner of Discord? It's
where it says voice connected. That next to that is a little thing with like a bunch of lines with a strike through it. No, not the mute button. Oh God!
well, I mean, either way.
I muted it.
It's the
Okay.
noise suppression powered by Crisp button. You could.
It's
I did that.
Okay.
there's a little button with like lines and maybe a strike through.
Yeah, I've got it on.
Okay.
Oh.
Okie doke. All right. So, upon you introducing himself, the old man stands up. You can see he's got a giant basket full of grapes sitting on the ground in front of him. It looks like it's probably pretty heavy, but he stands up and reaches out a hand and he says, Landry di Serono. Nice to meet your acquaintance.
He's going to hold his hand down and grasp it.
All right. Give me a strength check.
Oh, strength? Oh, that's going to suck. Are you crazy? 8.
All right. Give me a strength saving throw. 8. You kind of wince a little bit as this man's calloused hand, his hand feels like it's made out of rough burlap. Grasps yours, and he gives it a solid squeeze, and you're pretty sure you hear something inside your hand pop that you probably didn't want to pop, and whereas when you're shaking his hand, it's just kind of limp and whatnot. And he says, "Well, let me pick up my harvest, and we'll head into the house. I'm sure you've got a lot to talk about. I'll get you some wine. That's what we do around here."
Our little friend here can help you carry that.
He says, "What do you take me for, an old man?" And he hefts the big basket, and he just kind of bounces it on one of his shoulders and then he reaches down with his other hand and picks up another basket that actually has handles on it that looks even bigger, that was on the other side, and he starts leading you guys back up to the house.
Did you volunteering me, huh?
I was asking for your help, Mustachio.
You didn't ask. You said I can do it. That's volunteering. Not
Hey, Feline, so who are the rest of your friends here?
We have Zarek, very handsome and pale. We have Valena, very unusual, beautiful, as always. And then we have...
While you're saying that, Helena is actually trying to get Zarek's attention, sort of waving one of the grapes that she plucked in front of him and trying to get him to take it.
All right. We'll turn to her and try what she's offering.
All right. She, I'm guessing she must hand you a bunch of grapes that she pilfered from the vines, and they look quite juicy and plump. Nice deep reddish purple.
He tries them and comments on how delicious they are.
Yes, they've got a decent amount of sweetness, not too sweet, and there's also a slight smokiness about them, almost like if they were aged outside of a bonfire or something like that, even though they're freshly cut.
Thank you, Valena. You're always so thoughtful.
Give me
Smiles.
Valena, give me a nature check.
14.
14. based off of what you know of plant life and various berries and whatnot, the smokiness to them is probably indicative of it being like a dry year. Possibly they've possibly been traumatized by fires that may have been in the area at large.
She'll comment on it and say, has it been a particularly dry season or any fires lately in the area?
Yeah, it's funny that you should mention that. It has been a little bit dry this year, and it doesn't help that we've got some gremlins that live nearby that have been having their way in some of the outlying farms lately. So yeah, there have been some fires in the area. Thankfully, nothing that's affected my vineyard, but you can definitely taste it in the grapes, can't you?
He nods.
Well, it'll make for a unique vintage in a few years' time when they're done aging. Probably sell pretty well. He leads you into the up to the house. He goes and he sets the baskets of grapes up in the looks like kind of like a barn, one of the outbuildings before he emerges and leads you back inside his main house. When you get into the main entryway of the house, even though this guy kind of dresses like a farmer, you can kind of tell from the quality of his clothes and the nice furnishings in the house, like leather furniture. He's got like lots of rich wood paneling on the walls. There are kind of exotic smells in the house that you can't quite place from some of the areas that you've traveled. You kind of get the impression from what you know about him and Madrick that he's probably pretty well traveled and is probably not exactly hard up for money. And when he offers you guys some seats in the living room of his home, and in front of the atop the mantle of the big fireplace that he's got in there, there's a portrait of a woman. Can you guys see that on my stream? I can paste it in the NPCs and notes as well.
Yes.
Let me put this in here. There's a
Y'all still there?
I am
Yes.
still here. Okay. There's a portrait of an attractive middle-aged woman with a big smile, and she's wearing white armor with red leather accents to it, some steel fittings and a red cape, and you can see the grapevines surrounding her, and in the background. It looks like some sort of large masonry building in the background. You can't tell if it's a castle or a cathedral or what. But that's resting on the fireplace, on the mantle atop the fireplace, in a rather prominent position.
That is a fantastic portrait you have here. A striking warrior.
He says, "Oh, that's the love of my life, Gazelle. God's rest her soul. She died in the cathedral fire when the Pantheon was burned to the ground a few years back."
So sorry to hear that. Condolences.
Well, I believe that she was trying to get some others out from inside at the time, but unfortunately my heroic wife didn't manage to best this enemy, unfortunately. So.
Yes, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, every hero meets their end in some fashion or another. I'm sure she'd be glad that hers was at least doing something suitably heroic. It's better than getting run over by a bull in a field or something to that effect. Anyway, what news did you bring from Madrick? Or is there some other reason that you're here?
Hello, Oswald. Just asked that we come by here and check in with you and say hello.
He turns to Feline and says, Does Veneto know about the situation with Pravima from about a week back? And Feline, she's the look that she's got on her face this whole time as you guys are talking is just kind of like extreme nervous anxiety. She's just kind of standing there like, and she just says, yeah, I explained the whole situation with Voltan and such. He's not actually here right now, is he? And he says, no, he went into town to see if he could get hooked up with some lunch, courtesy of your employer, and haven't seen him since. And she says, oh yeah, that's right. I did manage to get him some lunch, but he sort of took it and just wandered off on his own. I saw Sister Monica briefly, but and they were talking, but I don't really know where they got to. So they didn't come back here?
What do you look like?
He says, well, he's a good-looking young man. He's kind of got an inner glow about him, you might say. He's well-built, strong. He was actually wearing some blacked-out armor that I'd bought for my own boys, but they sort of decided to go into criminal justice as opposed to villain justice. And when he says that, he kind of cracks his knuckles. So they didn't really have any need of such gear, so I've been training him, trying to get him to shape up and maybe make something of himself.
I think I saw like
so,
what kind of hair?
Let's see. Let me see what color hair he has. PCs. Well, it's I guess you could say it's Snow White hair. He's very pale himself. Kind of about shoulder length, I'd say.
I think I saw that guy when all the shenanigans were going on earlier.
What sort of shenanigans?
Looks too fading. You know, outside.
She says, oh, well, there was, the Don, he had this little goblin girl in a cage, and, like, I think she was supposed to be some sort of gladiator. You know, the one I was telling you guys about at dinner last night. Well, she sort of blew up. And he says, blew up? What, you mean like a fireball? She says, no, it was like she turned into a balloon and then she popped. Huh.
But like, what happened right after with the poop crown and stuff, you know? He was sitting in the bushes laughing.
Oh, you were there and saw the crown?
I mean, I was around. I could see it. It was kind of funny. And What's His Noodle was sitting in the bushes laughing.
Who was sitting in the bushes? Oh, I think Emil was sitting in the bushes. Voltan, I think.
No,
was Voltan?
he was sitting in the bushes.
Was he? I thought he was standing there.
He was sitting off to the side or something. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
he was
I don't
actually
think he was
in the
actually.
bushes,
I don't
but I
think
know.
he was actually in the bushes. I think he was just kind of standing off to the side, taking in the whole spectacle.
We'll pretend I said near the bushes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know he was sitting.
Yeah, he was over there somewhere because of the fact that he was still waiting on Feline to hook him up with some food. She says, yeah, I remember him being near there when that happened because I hadn't managed to find any time to get him some grub yet, but and Venito and Zalric, you recollect and you do recall seeing a guy who sort of matches that description, just kind of, standing off to the side, laughing, as the crown seemed to magically levitate and then bob its way over before finally recrowning the Viscount.
Your description does seem to ring a bell.
Yeah.
This is a poop crown. That's. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't think of. He says.
Some poop, and somebody was gracious enough to return it to him.
He just
Why did you do that, by the way?
Landry just kind of shakes his head, and he goes over to a bar that's at one side of the room, and he opens up a cabinet, reaches in, and pulls out a decanter of amber liquid, and he just pours himself a glass, and he says, and after taking a swig, he says, I don't suppose any of you want something to wet the palate while you're regaling me with these bizarre adventures.
I, of course, would like to have one. Thank you very much for offering.
And he pours you some amber liquid, and
Nowhere it says he'll try him as well.
Ponytail, are you friends with Don Doodoo? Talking to...
I prefer not to have people on my bad side. And he and I are both, he has titles and lands. I've got lands, and I do all right for myself. We don't necessarily need to be friends nor adversaries, and I prefer to keep it that way.
Well, that's all well and good, but I was talking to this blonde schmuck.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Sorry.
And he goes back to pouring a couple drinks, and he just hands them to anyone who's looking up at him expectantly.
Benito, take one.
Yeah.
So which...
I'm the only blonde schmuck in the room.
Oh, you said blonde schmuck. Gotcha. Oh, no, I was not a friend of his. I just thought the crown with poop on it would look more appropriate on his head.
Oh, that's right. You did do that. That was great.
And Landry comments as he finishes handing out the drinks to anyone who wants one. He says, "Well, I suppose that checks out for the sort of relationship that I witnessed a few times while I was up in town. I have to say, your mother and Adrian didn't seem to have any love lost between them."
He's an ass.
Yes. Well,
More so than usual.
speaking of your mother, you do realize that she may have sort of run over Voltan's fiance with her carriage on her exodus from Roselle, right? I doubt the young man's going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. That does present a problem.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to find out about it eventually.
How do you know that?
It should be long gone by the time he does.
Well, just make sure that when you broach the subject with him, you're not inside my house. I don't care to have any of my old man possessions broken by a couple of hot-headed young punks.
I'd rather not have me broken by a couple of hot-headed young bugs.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I've been schooling him in swordplay all week following the funeral, and the boy can hold his own.
Oh, fantastic!
So you guys,
I like him.
so you guys end up talking for a couple more hours until it starts getting dark outside.
Uh-oh.
Voltan still hasn't come home yet, and just as Feline is like, she's gotten changed out of her work clothes and she started busying herself in the kitchen trying to start preparing some dinner when she comes back in from outside after having fetched something from he's got like a smokehouse out back where he's got meat curing and whatnot, and she walks back in carrying a haunch of mutton that she was going to prepare for dinner, and she says, "Hey, what's up with all the lights over in Roselle? It doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like fire."
Huh?
She says, "Yeah, come have a look." And you guys head back outside to see what it is she's talking about, and give me perception checks.
Oh.
Perception with a -1. 18.
22.
All right, Landon, you've had your senses are still full of the aroma of amaretto that you were just having in Mr. Disarono's home.
I knew it!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, if JoJo's can name all their characters after rock stars, I can name mine after beverages. I'm just saying.
I love it.
Um,
I kept
Patience.
Yep.
I kept having to not say I want the Serona on the rocks.
Yep. Zolric, you've got a particularly keen sense of smell, and you smell you can definitely smell smoke on the wind, and it's not as clean as if it was a bonfire or a wood fire. There's like other stuff that's burning in there, and sure enough, as you guys glance towards the west, you can see with your elven eyes that there's clouds of soot rising up from the town, and much too great a volume for it to simply be chimneys, and it's outlined in part by the revolving lights coming off of the lighthouse that stands off the small harbor, and you can kind of see the beam of light as it passes through the dust clouds of soot that's coming up from the town. And sure enough, yeah, you can see the flickering illumination of like orange and yellow rising up from parts of town. It looks like something's going down back in Roselle.
I think the town might be on fire.
Well, then let's go!
We're gonna rush back to see what's going on.
Do I still have a mustache and a beard?
Your mustache has begun to droop, and it looks more like a Fu Manchu at this point than a handlebar.
I'm okay with this, because I don't give a crap right now. She doesn't notice. I'm just like, I figured somebody was bound to by now.
Yeah. So yes, your mustache is now drooping. So it looks like instead of being curly cute at the end, it's now hanging down straight from the corners of your mouth, about to the level of your little tiny green chin.
Which is covered by a beard that is also probably drooping by now.
Well, you've got your goatee has grown longer and thinner, so it's instead of it tapering down to just below your chin by about an inch. Now it's Now it's hanging down by about 2 or 3 inches below your chin.
We gotta go. Come on, come on, come on.
All right. You guys begin rushing back to town. Somewhere in the distance, you can hear what sounds like... let me find it here. Where did it go? You can hear what sounds like high-pitched, tittering shrieks and whatnot that don't sound quite human. And you can hear there's people in town running and screaming. Some of the voices sound like little children freaking out. And there's like dark shapes flitting around town. Some of them look like they're riding what looks like misshapen, hairless dogs, even. Carrying, and the riders are carrying torches and spears in their hands. And as you're approaching, running up to town, and you're approaching from this darkened street down here on the southeast corner, you can hear a song being chanted throughout the town. It's horribly discordant, and it's echoing from different parts of town, but you can make it out. Gremlins chew and gremlins bite. Gremlins cut and gremlins fight. Stab the dog and cut the horse. Gremlins eat and take by force. Gremlins race and gremlins jump. Gremlins slash and gremlins bump. Burn the skin and mash the head. Gremlins here and you be dead. Chase the baby, catch the pup. Bonk the head to shut it up. Bones be cracked, flesh be stewed. We be gremlins, you be food.
Oh, fuck.
Do I recognize that song other than just... is it actually like Gremlins? Or
yes, does anyone in the party speak Goblin?
Yeah.
So, Pickle, you recognize this song. It's been a long time since you've heard it, and you recall hearing it when you were very small. And you remember...
And I speak Goblin too.
Yeah, the last time you remember hearing a song like this is back when you were in the Shadowfell as a child, and you remember getting lost in the woods once, and when you were young, and you remember hearing such scary chants and whatnot. And when you crept through the underbrush and glanced through, you remember seeing these squat little creatures that kind of greenish brown skin and like lots of bristly hair on their bodies, and their heads kind of almost like wider than they were tall, with like really exaggerated long ears. And when they would hunt, it was almost like when an elf when one of your Shadowkai hunts, they would always go for the heart and whatnot. But these guys, when they would take down a deer or something, they would just like, it was gruesome how they would just like, treat the corpse, like just tearing it to pieces rather than actually, properly butchering it or anything. It was very disturbing, and you felt greatly relieved that you were able to slink out of there without being seen. Pickle, as you're seeing this, you have memories back to that you don't even know where they came from, back from when you were a child, and you recall like smells of smoke and fire, and like a motherly figure to you, like like just tossing you off a cliff and into the snow, and like yelling for you to run. And you remember these same gruesome sort of creatures just attacking the goblins, like indiscriminately.
I feel like Poe and Kung Fu Panda 2.
Yeah, so you're like having like this vivid flashback to your childhood, and you were so shell shocked at the time. It was a terrible snowstorm, like a blizzard, and the only thing you remember from it was this beautiful, like elven or human woman with, blonde hair and a big purple hat ended up finding you in the storm and scooped you up in a big soft blanket. And that was the night that you remember being given over into Raoul's care.
We gotta do something. We gotta do something now. We gotta do. Oh God. Oh fuck. Oh God. The elf kiddos. They're not safe.
All right. Let me put you guys on the map here. Pauline stayed back at town at Landry's suggestion while you guys rushed back here.
Good.
All right. So each of these.
What these new powers are supposed to be capable of.
We do need to help, but we must be careful. They're vicious.
All right. As
No shit.
you hear screaming elsewhere in town, and right in front of you, there's the cathedral right up here, and you can see what looks like the roof of the cathedral is actually on fire, like its steeple is actually on fire.
Oh, no.
And you see creatures out in front of it. Let me find the map. Where did it go? Oh, that's not the one. All right, let me add to the map here. I'll add the party star. Okay, let me zoom out.
House tonight.
So, you guys are further down the street, but looking up the street, you can see the front portico of the Pantheon. The fire is off, on the steeple on the roof, like over in this area. You're further down the street, maybe like about 100 feet down that way, and you can see. Come on, roll 20. GM layer.
Is anywhere else on fire or just the cathedral?
Yeah, there's other points in town. Like there's some buildings on the north side of town that look like they're on fire. Let me switch it back to the other map for briefly. So there's some buildings up here that look like they're on fire. There's
I can't see where up there is at the moment.
Oh, you might need to zoom the map out. I've got the map at 40% to fit the whole thing on my screen.
Okay.
But you can also look at my stream if you prefer. So there's some flames over here on the north side of town,
Okay.
along the road that leads to the bridge that leads out of town. You see further in the distance, off near the harbor, looks like there's flames and smoke and whatnot coming up from over by the harbor. And there's also the smoke and flames over here by the cathedral. So that's what you see. You also see some goblins, or some gremlins rather, that look like they're running across the square towards the Carnelian Grand Hotel. And those are the ones that are closest to you.
Well.
Now, as you get closer, I'm going to put you guys on the map. Pickle. Valena. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer, aren't I? I am on the wrong layer. Layer. Token layer. Layer. Token layer.
Oh.
Let's go back to the token layer. And let's see, Benito. So, as you run up, you see that there's some gremlins over here, and it looks like they've knocked over a vendor cart. It's not melons. Her
cabbages.
Say what?
It's in my cabbages.
Cabbages! Yeah, it looks like they've knocked over a cart, and these ones in particular don't look. It looks like they must have all thrown their torches away because they don't actually have any on them at the moment. Give me. Let me roll perception checks for them to see if they notice you. It doesn't look like they've noticed you yet. So everyone, go ahead and roll initiative, and you have surprise.
Have what?
You have surprise. So let me see how to do the initiative on this thing. I don't even know. Let's see.
Guys, I don't know how to play my character.
Click your token before rolling initiative.
Yeah, and
if you're doing it on there.
And where's my character on the screen?
Oh, did I not put your character on there? Oh, I'm sorry. Zalric. I'll put you right there. We don't need the party star. So you're right next to Valena, where you belong.
I'm just going to kind of say in kind of a hushed voice, but hopefully where people around me can say, we need to take cover at the tent to our right.
Okay.
And
Kelsey,
I'm referring to
this
here.
Oh, there's the turn order. Okay, so how do I put stuff into the turn order? Can I just drag and drop? No. See, configure. No. Move all turns. No. How do I add these gremlins? Add turn. Hey, that put them on the map. Okay, cool. So figure that out. And have you guys rolled initiative?
9.
19.
Add turn. So.
That's a dexterity save, but
9.
Oh, dexterity. Same thing as initiative, isn't it?
No, the initiative button is
turn.
initiative.
It's in the middle above your HP on the sheet.
Okay, Zalric, what's your initiative result?
Your armor class.
John.
I got 4 for initiative.
Sweet. And Venito got what?
He needs to roll still.
Instead of a 19.
A 19.
You got 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm not
You got 20.
sure how this many goblins got on here. Let's.
All the goblins.
Yeah,
No.
how do I take
They're
these
not goblins, they're gremlins.
gremlins? How do I take
Gremlins,
these guys
right, yeah.
back out of the initiative? I'm hitting delete and nothing's happening.
Somebody fed them after midnight.
So it would seem. Let's see.
La, 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 la.
Let me roll their initiative. Hey, Kelsey, how do I take something back out of initiative? Like, just delete it. Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because you kind of added them like before rolling, correct?
Yeah, I've never done combat in Roll20 before.
Yeah, there might be, like, if there's a wheel at the bottom, or you might be able to, like, right-click it.
Oh, it's got a thing to remove all turns. I don't want to do that, though. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll figure it out later. Okay, so, Venito, it doesn't look like the gremlins have seen you yet. You're the first up. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna this guy right here. I'm gonna hit him with Hex. The way I understand that, it's just like placing a hex on him, right?
Okay, go for it.
All right. Do I have to roll anything for that, or just put it on him?
Let me take a look at your character sheet right quick.
I think you just put it on him.
Let's see, features. Features. Fey presence. Archfey, otherworldly patron. It's under spells? Oh, hex. Okay, I see. Let's take a look here. You place a curse on a creature that you can see within range. Until the spell ends, you deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack. Also, choose one ability when you cast the spell. The target has disadvantage on ability checks made with the chosen ability. If the target drops to 0 before the spell ends, and its duration is 1 hour, it's a concentration spell. If it drops to 0 before the spell ends, you can use a bonus action on a subsequent turn of yours to move the curse to a new creature.
I like your hunter's mark.
Yeah, it's basically like my hunter's mark. Yep.
So I'm gonna hex this one.
All right. What ability are you choosing?
All right. So.
And when it says it affects ability checks, that would also include saving throws, I believe. I think it would also affect attacks if attacks are made with that ability, but let me check. Let's see. Does the hex give disadvantage on saving throws? Let's see. The three main roll types of the game: ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls. It looks like from what I'm reading that hex would not affect saving throws or attack rolls.
Just ability checks. Okay,
just ability checks. So
not much of anything in combat, but I'll just take a already weak, playing strength wise. Dex. I'll say Dex.
Okay. Alrighty. So they have disadvantage on dexterity checks.
I don't know if that means anything for this, but I guess we'll see. So we got hex, and that's a 1d6 extra. So then, can you imagine what I'm going to do? Attack with Eldritch Blast.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll.
Oh, I missed. Oh no.
Let's see. What did you get?
An 8.
An 8? Yeah, that's not going to cut it. You end up firing off a blast of energy. And what does your hex look like when you fire it off? Or what does your Eldritch Blast look like when you fire it?
I haven't thought about that.
Well, your patron is a purple, beautiful witchy looking lady.
All right, I'm imagining sort of like a purple and gold swirl.
All right, so you fire off a purple and gold swirl that spirals off from your fingertips and flies in its direction, but the tent that's between you guys kind of throws off your depth perception a little bit, and it goes wide to the left and just shoots off into the distance before dissipating. When after your bolt's fired up, the goblins look surprised and look over in the direction that it came from. And Pickle, you can hear him shout, "Ah, crap, a mage!" And Zalric, you understand that as well because you also understand Goblin. All right, let's see. Next up is going to be Pickle. Pickle, it is your turn to act.
I wanna smash him! Where am I? I don't even see where I am.
You are right there. Let me pan the map over a little bit so you're there.
The turn order thing is in my way.
I'm trying to move it out.
Okay.
No. Oh.
I can't get all the way over to him, can I?
What is your movement? 30? 35?
30.
30, let's see. That's...
If we were going by normal movement, then I could.
Not,
but...
Why is that measuring in squares? Yes, that's like 8 squares of movement, 7 squares. So yeah, the closest you could get would be... You could get up to about there. or there. So you can get up to the side of the tent and ready in action or something if you wanted.
I can't see where you were pointing to.
Oh, so you could get up to about there, or you could try and like keep the tent in between you so that it kind of conceals your presence a bit. At least breaks line of sight.
Sure.
All right. So did you want to put yourself in their way, or did you want to like keep yourself pressed up against the tent?
Putting myself in their way, and I've got my hammer out.
All right. You whip out a big old hammer. It's as tall as you are. You whip that out from off your back, and they're holding it in both hands. It's kind of squatting down in a combat stance right in their way.
Can I hold until like they try and hit me or something? If anyone attacks me,
you can't delay an action in 5th edition, but you can certainly ready an attack in case one of them comes within hitting distance.
What's the difference?
Well, in Pathfinder, you can delay your action and then like take your full turn later in the round. In 5th edition, you can ready an action, but you can't delay and change your turn order.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm doing what we normally do, is not in Pathfinder, wherein I've moved. I want to hold my hitting stuff thing until they're within range. If they're
That's
within range.
readying an action.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Okay, well you acted like you didn't want to do that and want to do something else. Okay, so you've got a melee attack readied against the first gremlin who comes within reach of your big old hammer.
Yeah.
All right, Valena, it is your turn.
Eric says, Valena,
Kelsey?
be careful.
She's gonna nod and gonna say, are we getting rid of these guys? Can't talk to them?
From what they're doing here, I don't think talking is going to work with these guys. If they wanted to talk, they would not have.
Yes, while you guys were running over here, you did see at least one body lying in the street. It looked like it was, judging by the clothes and whatnot, it looks like a noble woman, and she seemed to be missing a leg, and there were numerous gashes in her back, and part of her head might have been missing.
Yes, these creatures not negotiate.
Yeah, you're aware that these creatures, Zalric, you're quite aware that gremlins hail from the Shadowfell, whereas goblins, like Mr. Mustachio, hail from the Feywild. So they're kind of like they're kind of opposites, but both races are given to not having a whole lot of inhibition.
We would both know of them then if they're from the Fey, right?
Yeah, well, you know that goblins are from the Fey, but you guys are also familiar enough with gremlins and goblins to know that both races are rather passionate and ruled by their emotions, but where goblins are more like playful and just don't really think about the consequences of their actions, gremlins are purposefully malicious, and
right.
So yeah, I can see you still having reservations about like having to kill a bitch, but
I'm not, but I see she is.
Yeah.
Yes. And I explained to her that they don't take prisoners and they kill anything in sight.
She'll her ears will droop a little bit, but she'll nod and let's see, 10, 15. She'll stand over here, and she's going to actually attack with an ice knife.
okay.
Little spell that she's got. For a 24. Does that hit?
That definitely hits.
And for 4, I think that's cold damage.
All right, you hurl this ice knife out that just kind of materializes from your palm, and and flies out
gonna
in,
go to the
in a
closest.
straight line. It actually pierces through the yielding walls of this tent that's in the way, and it flies out and it catches the goblin right in the shoulder. And you hear it cry out, the gremlin cry out in pain. It says, "Ah!" And you think you got it pretty good. It's like clutching its wounded shoulder with its other arm, and
Sorry.
Oh gosh.
She'll,
All right,
she'll,
Zalric.
she'll yell out.
nice. Is there anything else you can do, like any more movement you want to use or anything, or you done?
She'll use like 5 more feet
Okay.
to step.
Alrighty. Okay, Zalric, it's your turn, and Venito's up next.
Alright, so 30 feet, right? Each of these squares is 5?
Correct. And if you move diagonally, the first diagonal square is 5 feet. The next one's 10, then 5, then 10.
That's Pathfinder, but not in D&D.
Yeah, that's correct. So we're using the Pathfinder movement rules in this campaign.
Okay. I'm moving straight across 6 feet,
Okay.
30 feet here.
Yep. You've got
I got a clear line of sight on this one,
yes.
and he's considered a goblinoid or humanoid, right?
Yes, they're goblinoids.
So, if I'm not mistaken, my favorite enemy is either humanoids and goblinoids.
Let me check your sheet.
'Cause I have humanoids, goblinoids, elves, and goblin. A list.
I will take your word for it. Oh, that's Voltan's sheet. No wonder I can't see it.
Yeah, it's under features and traits on my sheet.
Oh yeah, Gnomish, Elvish. Yeah, I see Gnomish and Elvish for the languages that you picked. Humanoids, goblinoids, goblinoids and elves are your favorite enemies. Okay,
Right.
so you have advantage in
So-
survival checks as well as int checks to recall information about them. You also learn one language of your choice. So, did you want to make an intelligence check to see if you can recall any useful info about them, or?
Sure, I will. Intelligence.
Roll that beautiful
That would
footage.
be, and so that would be nature. Which one? Oh, or intelligence saving throw.
Just an intelligence check.
Okay. Oh, well, I hit saving throw. How do I do intelligence check?
Just click intelligence on your sheet. And
Yeah.
you have,
Okay. So,
Oh, okay. I got to go. Okay, towards the top of my
so
sheet.
4, and let's see. Do you get to add anything to that?
No, I clicked the wrong thing.
Oh yeah, that's a saving throw. Okay. Mm,
Not much better, but
alright. I just had this here a minute ago. And you have an advantage on that, so you can roll again and see if you do any better than an 8. So go ahead and all right. So an 11. All right. Let's see what that gets you. So, you know that even though gremlins are gleefully malicious and supremely chaotic, you also know that they tend to be ruled by the strongest or smartest among them. So there's probably some sort of boss that has organized them and put them up to this chaos. You doubt that they're brave enough to have done something like this on their own.
After we dispatch these 3, I will relay that. So, if I put favorite enemy on this one,
Hunter's Mark, you mean, or
yeah,
or is that is favorite enemy a
Hunter's
different
Mark
thing?
is my favorite enemy. Right? Yeah. What were you saying?
I'm trying to figure out which ability you're talking about. Phoenix history, chronic resistance, feats. Did you pick the same? Did you pick the same hunter that Dasha uses in the other game? I'm not sure what your
under my features and traits, I have favored enemy. Doesn't that give me bonus to attack them?
I'm reading here. I don't think it does in this version of the class, though. In the version that Dasha has, I know it does.
Okay, so what am I thinking of?
Mm,
Okay, so no.
It might be a spell. You might be thinking of Hunter's Mark, maybe.
Okay.
I'm trying to see. Well, I don't. Do you have spells?
Okay, so I don't have that skill right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Oh no, because we're level 1. I don't
Attack.
think you would have that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any spells on your sheet yet. I don't think Rangers get spells at first level.
Okay. And I was.
You might have been thinking of the version of the class that I used with Dasha, and if you want to respec into that, that's fine. But I don't think you get the subclass choice at first level.
Okay.
Let me check.
Right.
Let me load up her sheet real quick and check, because I know which class I know which feature you're thinking of.
Right.
Characters.
And I don't think I have it under racial or as features.
Right. Let me see here. Features and traits. Favorite enemy. Favorite enemy. So if you're using the same version of this class that I used for Dasha, then you would get a +2 bonus to damage rolls with your weapon against them.
Okay.
But that version isn't. That version of the Ranger isn't commonly available on
Okay.
D&D Beyond. It was like I think a playtest version or something. So
Okay.
But I mean, if you want to use it, if that's the version that you want to use, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So you'll get to add +2 damage to your attack rolls,
Okay.
and we'll just fix your character sheet to reflect that it's using this version of the Ranger class later.
Okay. Alright. Now I attack the same way though?
Yeah,
I'm
you
on the-
attack the same way. There's no attack bonus, just damage.
I'll just Alright, so just click my weapon.
Yep.
Well, my weapon for the longbow says 1d8 +2 on it. I don't know if that's
That's your
that's just my
that's your
proficiency.
damage. You still need to make an attack roll though.
right. Yeah. One.
There you go.
Yeah, that's definitely a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Okay,
with the
7 points of damage. You how do you kill that goblin? How do you kill that gremlin?
It just pierces through one of his eyes and drops him.
All right, you sink an arrow, the shaft of an arrow, clear through this gremlin's eye, and it keels over dead.
And at this point, though, for my ranger, I get one attack per turn, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, that's one gremlin down. All right. Anything else for you, or is that all you can do this round? I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any kind of. I don't think I have any bonus actions that I can do right now. So I am just 14. Yep.
All right, sounds good. Okay, top of round 2. Venito, it's your turn, followed by the gremlins.
Attacking this bastard again.
All right, make your attack roll. 14. Let's see if that's enough to hit. You get a lot closer this time. this whole Eldritch Blast thing is still kind of new to you, especially when you're shaking a bit now that you're actually being faced by combat rather than pumpkins, and it just barely squeaks past their right ear as the goblin ducks out of the way now that he sees where you are. Are you moving or taking any bonus actions or anything?
He doesn't really have a bonus action that's useful here, but he'll come over here and take some cover behind this umbrella, if it offers any sort of cover.
Okay, behind that little tent there. All right. You move up behind the tent, and you have broken line of sight from the gremlins. Give me...
Well, you can always pop out again when he gets ready to fire again.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and give me a perception check from where you're standing.
Alright. Eight.
Okay. From where you're standing, you can see some more gremlins. They're not too far behind Zalric, actually.
Oh, would I have seen them?
You did not. You did not.
Zalric. Wait. So
there's a whole bunch more gremlins here who were by this tent over here, who were inside of it, and they kind of like poked their heads outside now that they've heard all this ruckus over, and like the goblin scream from the ice knife, and they're like eh. All right. Is that all for you then, Vanita? You're going to shout out a warning or anything?
Oh, yeah, I guess I'll shout out a warning. Let Zalric know. Zalric, behind you!
He looks over his shoulder. What's?
Looking behind you, you can now see that there's a whole bunch of gobos that came slinking out from under this tent over here, and they're now looking at you guys, kind of heads cocked to the side, eyes wide, and their teeth just kind of bared, and they don't look too happy to see you. And once again, you hear that song, that disturbing song break out. Only this time it's much closer. It's right behind this tent here. And it seems like there's some sort of goblin over there chanting and inciting these guys to frenzy. Let me roll their initiative. All right. The first goblin here, the one who's been wounded, he sees Mr. Mustachio here, and in his blood maddened anger, he just runs straight at Pickle, holding a rusted looking short sword in his hand, and tries to swing at her. Pickle, you may take your reaction and interrupt him.
Go! I'm gonna try anyway. Warhammer! You have betrayed me.
Oh
It's
no.
10.
A 10?
Yes.
A 10 is not sufficient to hit this gremlin with your big old gobbo hammer.
How frickin' dare! I'm switching dice.
I'm afraid this gremlin is still quite operational. All right, it may be operational, but clearly its loss of blood and the amount of pain it's in has dulled its dexterity. It slashes out at you with its short sword and practically trips over the guy lines of the tent near you, and it spins itself around, slashing through some of the support ropes for this tent, which starts to sag over. It sags in this direction as its guy lines are cut. It doesn't fall over, but it's it's opened up this square now, so that it's easy to pass through. But yeah, it terribly whiffs and just barely manages to stay on its feet. Okay, the next Gobbo is going to it's also going to run up at you and attack with its got a spear that it's wielding. It tries to prick you with, and it doesn't seem to be doing any better than its little buddy there. It trips over its dead friend, and it just kind of staggers in your direction, holding out the spear in front of it and going, "Ah!" as it's getting way too close, and it's the point of its spear about digs into the ground, and he almost vaults himself into you before he manages to pluck it back out as it turns him around, and he just ends up standing right in front of you, flat-footed from his near mishap.
That's what I thought.
Okay, the goblins down here are still surprised by this nonsense. So Pickle, it is now your turn.
I'm gonna smash or try.
Make your attack roll.
Since that one's technically, yeah, I'm gonna do that one.
Do it.
They believe in
Oh
you.
my god, that's a 9.
God damn.
I think I might need to start using real dice. I've been using the digital dice.
Now, did you rage, and do you have reckless rage or not?
I'm level 1. I don't think I have rage.
I'm pretty sure I thought barbarians got rage at level 1. Let me take a look here. Yeah, you definitely have rage.
Oh, well, if I'd have known that.
Let me see if you've got reckless attack or not. I don't know that you have that yet. You've got
Probably
Fury
not.
of the Small, Nimble Escape.
Oh, that's
Vance
right. What does that do again?
Fury of the Small, when you damage a creature whose size is larger than you, you can deal an extra +2 damage.
Oh, well,
So
this
that's
doesn't
that requires
count for
damage
that.
to them. So, let's see. Rage, as a bonus action, enter Rage for up to 1 minute. You gain advantage on strength checks and saving throws, but not to attacks. +2 melee damage with strength weapons, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And you can't concentrate on spells while raging. So rage still benefits you because if you get damaged, you take basically half damage unless it's magic.
How many times can I do that?
As a bonus action, you can enter rage for up to 1 minute. You can do it twice per long rest at this level.
Okay, well, if I had known that I had it, I would have did it. But
Okay, so you are enraged.
Ah!
All right.
It still didn't help me hit them, but
It
I'm
didn't.
angry.
But if they hit you, it will help. All right. Let's see. Velena's up next. Kelsey, what are you going to do?
Elena, hearing the warning, is going to take a look over, and then she's going to shuffle over towards her pal Zal.
Her pals.
And she's going to hold an attack in case anything comes towards them.
Okay, holding a melee attack or a ranged attack?
A ranged attack.
Okay. And that's
So
with,
anything
with
that
a
comes
weapon?
within 10 feet.
Okay, so with a weapon or a spell?
A spell.
Okay. So anything within 10 feet. All right, gotcha. All right. The War Chanter. What is the War Chanter going to do? Is they... All right. The War Chanter continues singing a song about bashing babies' heads and whatnot, and he comes on over here and points at Zalric, and he says, "We be gremlins, you be dead." and he is going to use vicious. He is using vicious mockery upon you. Let's see what that does. Filter spells. You unleash a string of insults. If I can hear you, you must succeed at a wisdom saving throw. So give me a wisdom save.
Whoa.
That is not successful. You take 1d4 psychic damage. So you take 4 points of psychic damage. And you have disadvantage on the next attack roll you make before the end of this gremlin's next turn.
I take 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage.
All right.
And he after he does that, he points at Valena, and then he to the goblin to the right next to him. He says, "You brave, go get her!" And he's going to use bardic inspiration on that goblin, or a gremlin rather.
Rude.
Yep. All right. Zalric, it is your turn.
Oh, yeah.
And I have disadvantage on my attack. Shit.
Yeah.
But I okay, well, I'm going to place my hunter's mark on him.
Okie doke. That's your bonus action.
And then I'm going to attack him.
Go.
I just rolled twice then, right?
Roll twice, and it's going to be the worst result.
Which will probably be that one. Yep.
Okay, yeah. You fire at him, and your arrow just sinks into the dirt, like at his feet, with a pathetic twang. And he just kind of snickers. You suck, knife ear. In spite of the fact that his ears are definitely longer and more pointy than yours.
Alina, be careful and keep your distance.
All right, are you moving or are you staying put?
I'm moving. I'm staying put.
All right, excellent. Venito, it is your turn.
Tadia is going to glance over his shoulder. I think Mustachio is going to have no problem with these two little gremlins over here. So he's going to switch his hex over to this guy.
Over to the loudmouth who's singing badly.
So far.
All right.
So what?
It's the mustachio who has hit nobody so far.
Well,
Also not been hit.
yeah.
That's
and
true.
also,
That's true.
Benito hasn't hit anybody.
It's
either.
almost like they're doing some sort of bizarre mating ritual up there.
Hey, no.
All right. So bonus action, move the hex. What are you doing for your actions and or movement?
I don't think. Nothing. No. So he's going to then try to hit something.
Blast. All right, go for it.
Sonny Beaches.
God damn. Maybe
That
you should,
is-
maybe use math rocks instead, dude.
Use what?
Maybe use math rocks instead.
Actual dice, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm tempted because I've been whiffing on these digital dice. No
Yeah.
matter which
That's
ones I use.
pretty.
Next time.
That's
That's
pretty-
pretty.
That's pretty
bad.
rough.
I got a
So
+5 on this, and I still can't hit a fucking thing.
yeah,
Right?
that's
I got a +6.
yeah, it's kind of
Jesus.
All right,
right.
you look at your hand and you're like, what the hell? And you look down and you're like, is something wrong with my hand? These bolts aren't going where I want. And then you just kind
Hang on.
of like crack your knuckles, and you hear all your knuckles pop. Surely that's got to be it. All right, are you moving or are you staying put?
So maybe he can move over here, maybe get a little bit out of line of sight.
All right. Cool.
And he's gonna like Zimbilla's like, I knew it was a mistake taking this deal.
You hear faint laughter inside your mind. All right. It is now the Gremlins' turn. All right, Pickle, up by you. These two Gremlins are going to come at you. The first one swings at you with his rusty short sword.
Is he at disadvantage? Because rage? Or no?
Rage doesn't put them at disadvantage, no.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Let's see. Does a 14 hit you?
Nope.
All right. It's a swing and a miss. Its buddy with the spear attempts to prick ye. That is an 18.
Yes, that hits.
All right. It hits you with its little spear for 3 points of damage, which will be halved by your rage to 2.
Okay. Wait, what? Oh. Yeah, it would be.
Yes.
2 damage. Oh. Hold up.
What?
I don't know why I was at 7 hit points. Oh, it's from the past thingy. That's why.
Oh, yeah, from the past. But
You
yeah,
gotta rest.
several years have elapsed since then. I'm sure you've had a long rest.
Yeah, I'm sure I've had many.
Yes. All right. These gobos down here. This one, who was commanded by their war chanter to attack you, he is going to run up. He gets to within 10 feet of you, and you're ready to attack Magor Felina.
Okay. I need a Constitution saving throw.
Constitutionality. All right, let's see what their Constitution saving throw is. That is a 7. I'm pretty sure that's going to fail anything.
Yep, it does. So they take...
Yep, even with
They take 7 points of poison damage.
Oh, damn. It runs up to you with murderous glee in its eyes, and as it gets within a few feet of you, like this. Describe what your poison attack looks like.
Essentially, it's kind of like a jet of like this purplish poison that sort of shoots out from her hand.
All right, as it
and just kind of like it just kind of covers him.
All right, as it runs up, a spray of purplish poison emits from your fingertips, catching it in its open mouth and its eyes and whatnot. You hear it as it's like, and it screams in pain, and its screams of pain turn into gurgles, and it staggers towards you a little bit closer, and then it keels over onto the ground right at Zarik's feet, just kind of twitching as its life ebbs from its body, and it dies. All right.
Does that strike fear in any of the other?
The goblins don't seem to have a whole lot of gremlins don't seem to have a whole lot of self-preservation. I don't know why I keep screwing that up. And the others just seem kind of angry. Another one rushes up, and it sees its dead friend and it says, "Hey, get up! It's it!" And it swings at Zarik, and misses terribly. It swings at you, and it just spins itself around with its clumsy attack. The last goblin or gremlin, fuck! It even Mine says gremlin on my screen. I don't know
You
why.
keep disrespecting my people.
I know. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It runs up here and it doesn't care. It just steps on its friend's back, and it tries to take a swipe at the pretty lady, and it misses the pretty lady as well as the what it thinks is also a pretty lady standing next to him. So it says, "Ah, stupid! Quick, get out from under my feet! Ah!" It just kind of, the war chanter for its part just stupid piece of duh. And it's going to it's in its anger, it's just going to try and cast a spell. Let's see what it can do here. Do spells. Filter. It says, "Time for big bada boom." And let's see, that is a 10-foot radius. So let's see what that is on here. Drawing circle. No, draw from the center. Draw from the center. Stupid computers. So a 10-foot radius. Alright, 10-foot. Oh, that's a 5-foot radius. I'm not good at this.
What?
10-foot radius.
Yeah, for a second there you sounded like 50 feet away.
Yeah. So it unleashes a spell, and I need all of y'all to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, heck. Constitution.
11.
16.
9.
Ooh.
Oh, golly.
Aaron, your character's not in the radius.
Oh, I thought you said everybody, so... it's
Well,
okay.
everyone in the side of the circle that I drew.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so Venito passes Ulrich, and Helena apparently do not, and neither do the two gremlins standing there either. So let me roll some damage.
Oh, so Landon's Venito's the only one that saved.
Yep. So let me roll.
I don't know if that means he misses damage or takes half damage.
All right. Those of you who made your saving throw take only 5 points of thunder damage. Those of you who failed your saving throw take 10 points of thunder damage. So these two gremlins, you watch, and they just explode before your eyes, and spiky gremlin teeth and bits of gremlin jaw and pieces of leg and whatnot, they just explode and fly to pieces all over the place.
What?
I'm down.
All right.
And Zelric is also down because he been hit for 4 beforehand.
All right.
He
So
only had...
the two of you are down, and it's looking like the odds have changed. So let me.
We need our other buddy.
Yes, the Gremlin War Chanter, upon seeing the fact that he just targeted his spell very poorly, says, well, the only one who can understand this is Pickle from all the way over there. He says, 2 for 2, good deal.
You schmuck.
Plenty more gremlins where they came from. And I think that is a good spot for us to call tonight's adventure until next time.
When hopefully Jacob can come save our asses.
Right. Hopefully Jake will come in and...
Valena and Zalric, I'll allow you guys to, because Valena's already had her turn. So Zalric, go ahead and give me a death saving throw, if you would, please. Roll a flat d20.
Wait, I didn't
So-
have my turn.
Yeah, I know. So you won't have to make yours until your turn comes up around next round. So I like
Alright,
to start
just
at the top of the round when I cut off in mid combat.
How do I roll a straight D20? on here?
Just roll a d20 and tell me what it is.
So far left, there should be an icon of a D20.
Yep.
Yeah, or you
Click
can just type /roll space 1d20 in the
Yeah.
chat.
If you click it, one will show up that you just click. There you go.
All right, Zalric fails his first death saving throw.
That
Bum,
was a quick campaign.
No,
Bum.
seriously?
Yes. All right. 2 more death saves to go. All right. We will pick up here in 2 weeks' time, I guess. That will be January 27th. And hopefully our esteemed paladin will be able to join us.
Yeah.
All right. Good session, you guys.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe. All right, cool.
It's funny. I rolled really well in the beginning for most of my checks and everything, but I guess that's
Yeah,
turn of the dice.
that's how I do. I mean, you killed the first gremlin with your first shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I'd still be alive with 1 hit point if I had not taken the first 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
Next time we all
Yeah.
use actual math rocks.
No.
Yes, use real math rocks, not the digital kind. All right. Cool. Well,
All right,
I will
cool.
catch
Thanks,
you
Michael.
guys in the future, I guess.
Yes.
All right.
Yep, see you then.
Night night.
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 Good night.